I'm Eric Reeser. For just the fourth time in history, a green jacket's been successfully defended. Rory McIlroy won the 90th Masters Sunday. He held off Scotty Scheffler and Justin Rose to join Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods as the only back-to-back Masters champs in history. The next major is the PGA Championship next month outside of Philadelphia. On the ice last night nationwide, the Blue Jackets fell to the Bruins 3-2. Dublin's Sean Corrali had a hand in all 3 goals for Boston. The loss doesn't eliminate the Blue Jackets from the playoffs, but they need the Flyers to lose in regulation over the next 2 nights. Then Columbus needs to beat Washington and nationwide on Tuesday. In baseball Sunday, the Braves pummeled the Guardians 13-1. Atlanta takes 2 of 3 in the series. In Cincinnati Sunday, the LA Angels won the series over match with the Reds 9-6. Redlegs are going to host the Giants on Tuesday. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best local credit union for the last 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit bmifcu.org to learn more.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Barry here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Whether you were rooting for Rory to win the Masters or you're rooting for Rory to collapse down the stretch, I think we can agree on 2 things after yesterday's final round. One, you can't lose the ball on 18. If you're CBS and you're spending however many millions of dollars, you've got however many millions of dollars worth of cameras, you can't lose the balls. Can't lose them on 18. And I don't need to see reaction shots of kids every time Rory does something. Michael Jordan had a great comment about kids I can't say on these airwaves, but happy Monday, everybody. It was a thrilling finish to the 90th Masters yesterday. We got a really busy show today. Bo is out for the day, so we made the call, brought up Justin Zwick. For the first time, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on. I was on early during camp just as a guest, but yeah, first time filling in, so I'm excited about today.
Ryan Baker's here with us as well. He was at Nationwide Arena yesterday. It was good that Rory was able to hold on 18 because you also had the Blue Jackets and the Boston Bruins, and then you also had the Guardians and the Braves on Big Boy NBC. Sunday Night Baseball, look, if you like runs, that game gave it to you yesterday, and I think that is what gets casual fans interested in baseball. Oh my God, they're scoring 13 runs.
Yeah, well.
What's this about? Justin, how's your weekend, bud?
It was good. I actually, you talked about that 13-1. I actually threw that one on last night, knowing I was coming in here today. Not, admittedly, not something I follow on a weekly basis, baseball. But I'm like, all right, I'm going to see how the old Indians or the Guardians are doing here tonight. And I put it on. I'm like, well, I shouldn't have turned this game on because it was 5-0 and early in the second or third inning. So I was like, oh, that's a tough one. I maybe want to turn that off. But great weekend. Had some 6-year-old soccer, my daughter's first practice/game. Nice. So that was, a lot of fun watching that beehive just follow the soccer ball around the field for a while. But it took up time. I had the 4-miler in the morning, had the soccer, and then by the time I got home, it was about 2:00, and the Masters was on. And what a leaderboard! What a day for the best major, in my opinion.
Yeah, you heard it there in the update. Rory's one of 4 now, all time in history. He wins his first Masters at 35, and then at 36, he defends it. He had the best opening 2 rounds in Masters history, and then Saturday was really one of those days that everybody had a shot. And I thought back to. It was a couple years ago at the Memorial Tournament where everybody was scoring in the double digits. And right after the Memorial ends, Jack's got bulldozers ready to just tear apart the course because he was so mad about how well people were playing that. And then Sunday started to humble some golfers. And so I think for all of us, that was as thrilling of an event as you could have asked for, to your point, for the first major. All-time Rory McIlroy hater, Ryan Baker. How did you feel about yesterday?
So it was interesting because you wake up on Saturday and you think this thing is over. Even though it's not, because crazy things happen on the weekend at Augusta. And then Saturday happens and the leaderboard shrinks a little bit there, where more people get involved, the lead drops. And then the beginning of Sunday happens and you're like, holy cow, anything could win this thing. And I was pretty confident yesterday morning that Scotty Scheffler was going to win this thing, because he was the guy I was the most confident in going under par yesterday and possibly going low. And Scotty had a great Sunday. Even though he lolled in the middle of his round, he shot 4 under yesterday.
He had a great weekend. No bogeys. First time ever, right?
So it was like there were all these guys you thought could win it. And then at the end, it was kind of anticlimactic. Even though Rory tried to make it a little crazy on 18, I don't know what he's doing, putting that drive in the trees. And Reese, I'm going to stick up here for CBS.
Not the kids.
And cameramen just a little bit here. So I believe what happens there is you don't expect to have a camera shot from where Rory was playing that ball on 18. So you have to get a roving camera probably behind him there. And then the camera that was going to pick it up, they're not getting it from the very beginning. So, yeah, it's bad that you lose where the ball is going. And then the other thing I will say, Reese, when I worked at Huntington Park for Clippers TV, the very first thing when you walk in there that they put on the board is TNT. And the second T is toddlers. That's what people want to see on the board. They want to see pretty people, and they want to see kids. So that's what these cameramen are trained to do from the very first time they go out there. So I get what you're saying. We don't need to see a kid's reaction every time, but it's the story. You put in the sheet, CBS knows drama. That's the story.
Yeah, but to your, yes, people like to see the kids, but this was hey, we're going to set this up.
To Northern Ireland.
We are going to stage this in Northern Ireland. I don't even know what time it was in Northern Ireland.
As they're watching this. Past their bedtime.
Yeah, it's past bedtime. I saw Guinness sitting on a table at one point in time, but it's like they staged that, so they knew they wanted to use it. But then what do you do if Rory's not in the tournament? Hey, sorry, guys. We pull the cameraman back across the pond. It didn't work out for us this year.
I mean, just the idea that it just kept going back and seeing the reaction shots. I just wanted to see Scotty's reaction shots. If you're going to tell me you got a person we can have a camera on, it's Scotty in the clubhouse. And I know certain Augusta rules won't allow something like that to happen. Like they've even got their, different language on how you want to address things. That's who I'm interested in. As soon as Rory shanks that drive on 18, I'm like, all right, where's Scotty? Yeah. Find him now and let's see this all unfold. But all in all, a tremendous first major to open the season. Yeah, Sir Nick Faldo, Tiger Woods, and Jack Nicklaus, the only 3 to do it. Here's Rory in a late career renaissance, coming down with his second green jacket. And now what you have is a PGA championship next month outside of Philadelphia with Scotty, with Rory, that casuals will tune into. It's really all about capturing that sort of attention. And in mid-May, you've got a lot to look forward to. Unfortunately, Justin, we might not be looking forward, and we're not looking forward to postseason play for the Columbus Blue Jackets. They fell to the Boston Bruins 3-2 yesterday at Nationwide Arena, and really for Boston, they scratched 5 of their players, and so you're dealing with Sean Corrali has 3 points, 2 assists, and a goal in that game, and it becomes like it's been for the last 2 weeks. If you're playing well enough to have a lead, it's too little, too late. And I think to back in January where you change it up with Rick Bowness becoming the new bench boss and the run that they went on. And all of this now leads to if Philadelphia gets a single solitary point, there's no postseason. And it's, for me, an all-time franchise faceplant.
Yeah, I saw Leo at the 4-miler yesterday, and he of course does the
anthem at the 4-miler.
He's awesome. He's a friend of mine, so when I see him, I could talk to him. But I was like, all right, what do we need? I know we're getting down to crunch time. He's like, we got to win the next 2, and we got to get 1. I'm like, but we still got a shot, and then you were like, Bake was at the game last night. I'm like, all right, here we go, and then and it just seems every stinking year in the last 3 or 4 years, it feels like this has been the last couple of weeks of the season, and we just got to keep. We put ourselves in these positions where you got to win everything towards the end, and that's just so hard to do at the end of a long season like this, where these guys are all beat up. Everybody's playing on probably one skate.
Everybody's hurt.
Everybody is. So to go out each and every night and be like, all right, we got our backs against the wall again, and to be able to put that all into, that's just got to be so tough. Knowing you got to get those wins.
Reese, it's interesting, and I guess it's just the perspective that we take. on things. It's interesting that you say an all-time face plant. And I get that coming from the aspect that you got up to the second place in the Metro.
You were thinking of hosting a series against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Correct. And you had your control there. But if you go back to January 11th, nobody was thinking that. Everybody was thinking, okay, here's who we're selling off at the trade deadline. And it sucks for the Blue Jackets that they're likely going to miss the postseason. All Philadelphia needs to do tonight or Wednesday night is lose in overtime, and they get that point. I guess that's not true because I guess the Washington Capitals could still. But
you have the opportunity Tuesday.
If Philly does that, then if they get a point,
a single point, 2 games,
you're out, and that's bothersome. And I get all of the consternation with that, but their run under bonus, even with this streak here where they haven't been great, is still awesome. If you look at the overall record, and you were a team that had 89 points last year, you got 92 this year. You improved a little bit, and you also won 40 games. You've only done that 7 times in your history, and I understand it's polishing a turd at this point, right? Because you're probably not making the playoffs, and you did get to second place in the Metro where you controlled your fate. It's just interesting that we use the word faceplant right there.
Let's just go ahead and say that this doesn't happen for him. Should we be happy with the way the season went? Coming into the season, because we were supposed to, coming in, there's a lot of excitement.
At the beginning of the year, you have to make the playoffs this season.
So you have to make the playoffs, but you did improve this year. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. I do think it's a disappointment overall that you didn't make the playoffs. And I do believe, and I've said this, Reese knows, I think we're going to look back on this past trade deadline as a massive failure for the Columbus Blue Jackets because you either needed to go all in and add some more pieces than Connor Garland, or you needed to sell because you had 4 free agents, upcoming unrestricted free agents, that with the prices that were going around the league would have fetched you a lot that could help you moving forward.
So did they just get too excited with that winning streak going into that deadline where it's like, we're going to keep this and not mess it up?
The room.
Yeah,
I think adding Garland was great. They'd already added Marchment a few weeks before that. The biggest question for me for this is what you're going to do at head coach next season, because you got Rick Bowness off of a boat in Florida. He takes them on an all-time run over the stretch of a couple of months, and then things end the way they do. You'll hear from the Blue Jackets head coach. Not sure what the future is going to look like because I think they're focused on Tuesday, but we've also got to move away from the turd that is the Blue Jackets, a spring game coming up on Saturday. That's coming up next. We've also got Austin Ward coming up at 10:30. Ryan Day is going to speak after practice this morning. Justin, because this is your first time with us, at 11 o'clock when it's scheduled, we tap dance for most of that hour.
But probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah, until he goes,
when
right?
Ryan Day speaks, we will bring it to you live. Eric Reeser, Justin Zwick, Ryan Baker, Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Hey, it's AR here for Germain Honda of Dublin. If you've been thinking about upgrading your ride, now's the time. It's the Honda Spring Event at Germain Honda of Dublin, and they've got seriously low lease rates on the Honda HR-V and Civic for well-qualified buyers. I'm talking reliable, fuel-efficient, and fun to drive without stretching your budget. Stop by Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. Check them out online at GermainHondaofDublin.com. The Honda Spring Event won't last forever.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place. And are you tired of windows so drafty that your curtains blow in the wind even after you shut your windows?
Sounds like a problem, Wilson.
It's why at the other window place, we now offer curtain tie-downs.
Wouldn't just great non-drafty windows be the answer?
And tank the entire curtain tie-down market?
Get the windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Now is the time to call Comer & Cross and transform your garage with a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor. Maybe your garage floor has exposed concrete with stains and cracks or a bad epoxy or paint job. Well, the new Comer & Cross garage floor will transform your entire garage in just one day. Now, here's the great part of this whole story. If you call them right now, they're going to take 50% off installation. Yeah, that's right, 50% off installation from Comer & Cross when you call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. A Comer & Cross garage floor is the gold standard, guaranteed to never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint, ever. Plus, they make it easy. They'll take your stuff out of the garage for you. They'll fix your cracks and pits perfectly like it's a new garage floor, and then they'll apply the proprietary finish that you pick. Yeah, I said it. They'll fix your cracks and pits. What's wrong with that? That's what you want. So call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR to get 50% off installation. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to comercross.com.
What can ADP do for small business? We help answer the business questions, like how do you track employee time? How do you do payroll taxes? Or what does compliance even mean? So small businesses can focus on bigger questions. Now florists can ask, can we invent another holiday to sell bouquets? Pizza shops can ask, how do we stuff a calzone into a pizza crust? And pool cleaners can ask, what is that thing in the filter? These are the questions you can focus on when ADP takes care of the business of your small business. ADP for small business.
Skip Mossick has been on the Fan for nearly 80 years, and during that time, he's worn many hats. Executive producer for Ohio State Athletics, talk show host, private detective when Ron Stokes loses his phone.
Somebody do something!
He's done it all.
But his proudest accomplishment,
Host of Tee to Green. If it has anything to do with golf in Central Ohio, Skip's on it.
Cheers to the next 80-year skipper.
And listen to Tee to Green Saturday mornings at 9 here on The Fan.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
This is Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel. If you're driving and take a quick glance at your phone, more can happen than you might think. Because taking your eyes off the road for even just a moment means you could miss everything happening around you. Don't let those few seconds take your attention away from what's right in front of you. Phones down, eyes up, Ohio.
Do you have foot pain? Foot pain is not normal regardless of your age or job. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet and can provide important foot care solutions or shoe inserts to better manage foot pain. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. We've been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Happy New Week, everyone. We will see a chance of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day today, although most of us will remain mostly cloudy and breezy with highs in around 80 degrees. For tonight, chances of showers and thunderstorms linger. Otherwise, most of us stay mostly cloudy with our lows into the 60s. And then for Tuesday, the gusty winds continue yet again with highs in the mid to low 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yes, it is. Eric Reeser, Justin Zwick, Ryan Baker rolling with you until noon today. Ryan Day is going to come up around 11 o'clock. Buckeyes are rolling through spring. You've got the spring game this Saturday. One of the more impressive things, Justin, about the spring game from a broadcasting standpoint is the venerable Skip Mossick does Tee to Green from 9 to 10 from the Horseshoe, and then they do spring game coverage starting at 11:45 at least for those guys, and we'll obviously be out there for spring game festivities at 10 o'clock with a tailgate show right outside St. John Arena. So a lot to look forward to as really the spring game's kind of the welcome to warmer weather in Central Ohio.
Well, most of the time, yes. Yeah. But I remember a couple spring games where it was sleeting and snowing and terrible outside. But yes, hopefully this weekend will be a beautiful day for the fans to get out, get down to the stadium and go see the guys in the shoe. I don't know what you're going to see
Ohio
exactly.
State do football things.
You're going to see guys in full pads on the field, and you can get in for a decent price. You know, hopefully it's a great day.
And is there one of those that you played in that was like that?
Oh, at 04 was absolutely the worst possible thing. I mean, it was, you know, it was one of those like 30, 32 degrees, wind, snow, sleet, just miserable.
Why do we have to be out here?
So, and that was back in the day.
Yeah, but
not a quarterback, not in a spring game. I was a redshirt sophomore at that point in time, but it's like, that was back in the day where we split teams. You had a draft, you went out and you played 4 quarters, and you only had, maybe 2 quarterbacks on each side, or you were kind of, because a lot of people would be out in the spring, so you had a bare bones, kind of team to go with, but it was just a miserable 60 minutes of football. I think the fans were booing. I mean, it got to a bad point in that spring game.
I understand. We were going to get to Rick Bowness, but Justin, almost for me, it's, he has the team that he has when he becomes the head coach, and you make only one move at the trade deadline because you didn't want to mess up the locker room. And even as, an athlete doing another sport, you can understand how the locker room chemistry, you try your best when things are going all right to not mess that up. Yep. And I understand for Bowness, his ask was, here's your team, and you get into a 4, 5, 6, 7 game losing streak, and you're pulling every lever you can. And you run out of levers to pull, you run out of things to do, you run out of ice time to take away from guys. You have the team that you have, and things just aren't going well on the ice. And it's a frustrating spot for Bowness to be in, a frustrating spot for everybody to be in.
Well, it's frustrating because, once he took over, it was like,
everybody had a rocket up their ass.
Everybody was, hey, all right, we got these guys going, and this is exciting, and we're winning games, and we're going into the break, and,
it felt so good.
And then you're like, you just wish, and I'm sure the organization itself was kind of like, man, we kind of caught it lightning in a bottle here, like, maybe we just push through these next few weeks and see if these guys can just continue this, because what a run we've been on, and you don't want to mess with that at that moment in time. It's just kind of a really bad timing almost, because, you just start playing so well, and then you got to take a couple weeks off, and, it's hard to keep that momentum. But, again, but you're taking over a team, and you just don't – you have who you have. And, again, we talked, it's a long season. Injuries happen. Stuff goes on, and it's just hard to give – it's hard to give that 110% every night because it's just back-to-backs and whatnot. But
so trying to paint this turd gold, you have an opportunity tomorrow night in front of your home fans. If Philadelphia loses to Carolina tonight in regulation, if the Flyers don't pick up a point, Carolina's not playing anybody. They've wrapped it up for the season. If Philadelphia somehow loses that in regulation, there's hope tomorrow at Nationwide Arena. And I think that's the best thing we can all hope for as a fan base, is that tomorrow against the Capitals, you've got something to play for. We're still in this because Philadelphia closed out the season on Wednesday. So hope is still available, but because of what happened yesterday against the Bruins, you lose control of your destiny, and that's probably the worst spot you can be in sport.
Yeah, no doubt. And Bake, you were down there last night. How'd the team look on the ice?
So I don't think they played bad last night. They just... It's almost.
Did they look like they run out of gas, or just?
It's almost like, to me, and I don't know, Justin, I didn't play, and you talked about back-to-backs, and their schedule has been crazy here, but so is everybody's. It almost looked like to me, and again, they didn't play bad. They came out, they had a great first period. They outshot the Bruins 12-2. Attempts were 24-6, but you leave that period tied at 1. Unfortunately. And the second period has been a bugaboo for the Blue Jackets for a while. And it wasn't as bad, but the Bruins kind of gained some momentum in that second period. And then they score a goal in the final minute. And it's like, oh, that's so deflating because you've seen that before. And then you come back and you play a pretty good third. And then like the last 4 or 5 minutes, the desperation was there. And it almost to me is... You're playing for your lives. Why isn't that amount of desperation there the whole game? And where has it been for the last week? And I know that's hard to do. And at the end, you see some guys, you see Kirill Marchenko whiff on a shot where these guys are just gripping their sticks a little tight because of the moment. But by no means did they play a bad hockey game yesterday for whatever reason.
Yeah, they didn't come out flat. They're coming out. it's just hard. And I have, here, I think Zach, I don't know if we're going to play this, but he talked about, sustaining that desperation throughout a game. And it's just, to your point, like it's probably really hard to do that. I can't skate. I've never been on there. I don't pretend I know how to do that, but I imagine it's really, really hard and it can wear you down. And, it's just hard to do. That desperation needs to be there, but it's so hard to do 3 periods.
Here's Z after last night's loss.
It's a good question. I feel like it's not, I don't necessarily think it's, intensity might be the wrong word, just more like the desperation. Like, I feel like we were prepared and worked, and we're probably the better team for 60 minutes. But it's just, certain plays, certain moments in a game, like understanding time or circumstances or long changes or shifts or whatever it is. I mean, like, those are little moments within a game that, and within a season, that can come back to hurt you. And I feel like, maybe that had to go up a little bit. I definitely felt like we were ready to go and ready to play, but just some key plays at key times, and we couldn't get hold of it. So yeah, it's more just the desperation, I guess.
Because you had bounced off of that 6-game losing streak last week, it's almost for Zach, who's the unquestioned leader of this team, you run out of things to say to your guys in the room. There's the message. Everybody understands the assignment. You've got to hold on to desperate. You got to play desperate hockey for 60 minutes, and you've got to make the most of your opportunities. Like you talk about the Marchenko whiff, and I understand Z's frustration at the end of the game there, where the official was talking to the Bruins bench as they dropped the puck, and then there was a whistle that should have called time, and that they should have given the Jackets a couple more seconds for another opportunity somehow. With the man advantage because you pull Jet Greaves. And I get how he's mad about that, but it's not last night. It's just what you haven't done over the past couple of weeks, where around you, teams were losing games or not picking up points, and you were still finding yourself, despite not getting those results and playing as poorly as you were, and luck just ran out on you.
Yeah, and it's got to be so hard to be at this point where it's like right there, and then you have that game going, and you're like, man, if last week we'd have just done, it's just like you think about that end of the season because that's, the closest thing you have to remember.
And we live in a world where we think of the latest thing, and everybody's like, but what about these last 2 weeks? I'm like, what about that first month of the season? What about the first 2 months of the season? What about that time
so much
where
dissecting
you got to
of
Dean
different
Evison?
Moments?
I mean, and you can't usually win something in the first month or two of a season, but you can lose it. Look at Rory this weekend. He won the Masters on the first 2 rounds. He wasn't great on the weekend. He was even par on Saturday and Sunday. But he played so well early on and gave himself that cushion that he could afford that. We always look at what's recently, like we always complain about the call at the end of the game. Oh, I can't believe the ref would make that call, or I can't believe he didn't call that. It's really no different than something that happened in the first quarter of a game. It's just that's the last thing we see right at the end.
All right, so we took a shot at the Columbus Blue Jackets. You'll hear from Carlos Laughlin, Ohio State's running backs coach, as the chaser in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Baths R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Baths R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate, or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
This spring, take a break from interest with 0% financing for up to 60 months on new 2026 Tucsons. 0%. Go now, Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With Proof Credit ends 4/30.
Welcome back to the Financial Playbook. I'm Laura DeLeon, KeyBank Market President, and I'm with wide receiver Jeremiah Smith.
Laura, my favorite play has to be the pass it on play. It's a fundamental way to support your community.
The quarterback pitches to Jeremiah, who budgets for a pass to causes he cares about, into the end zone, scoring a donation for his community. So generous.
It's a play to make it if you love giving back, Laura.
You heard it here, folks. Until next time, KeyBank opens doors.
KeyBank, member FDIC.
The new Omaha Steak Store is now open at 1033 Polaris Parkway at Polaris Commons. Stop in today and save 50% store-wide on legendary steaks, burgers, and more. Plus, get doorbuster deals starting at just $19.99. Discover the Omaha Steaks difference today at the new store at Polaris Commons in Columbus.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Monday. Ohio State spring game. Buckeyes will round out spring practices with 3 this week. And then Saturday at noon, the Boot will meet the ball at Ohio Stadium. It's one of those things, Justin, where you don't expect to see too much other than Ohio State playing football. And I was curious before the spring started just how some of these guys would look in the spring game with new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. But you're down 2 running backs, you're down 3 offensive linemen, and everybody that's taking those places is really just putting themselves out there to see what they can get better at in the summer and into fall camp.
Yeah, I mean, right now you just got a lot of young guys getting reps, which
is good.
Which is, yeah, I mean, you can look at it both ways, right?
Yep.
You're practicing hard, and when you practice hard, bumps and bruises are going to happen. So you're trying to get what do we talk about every year? What is the offensive line going to look like? What is the defensive? That's where games are won, trenches. So you got to practice those guys hard, especially when you got new bodies coming in. You're trying to figure out who can do what.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't recruit these guys. They're coming in off of this. We've seen their film, but we got to see them in person. So you got to get them banging a little bit. So, you know, that's good because you can do that. But then you have the injuries. But then on the other side, you get the young guys who need those reps maybe a little bit more, whom you're going to maybe need to rely on because we've seen over the last couple of years, offensive line-wise anyways, you have injuries. I mean, 2 years ago, national championship run, we lost, 3 starters that year?
You lost your Remington center.
Yeah, you lost your Remington center right before, the big game. And you have Donovan Jackson bounce out to the tackle. I mean, so, we understand. We're going to need some depth there. So I think it's a good thing for these young guys to be getting these reps. And
the championship run, they might have had 5 different offensive line configurations.
I mean, it was nuts, right? So we need this. I think this will help us. As long as these guys can get healthy, the starters, they get cleaned up or whatever is wrong with them. You get healthy, you go into summer, and you're full go all summer long, and you're feeling great going into camp. That's all I really care about.
I wrangled Jeff Thidoff on the Saturday show, and we were talking about the Blue Jackets, and then we went into Carlos Loughlin's sound, and as bad as we were feeling about what the CBJ have done over the past couple of weeks and the missed opportunity that'll be the postseason this year, Carlos Loughlin really picked us up. He's a guy you could run through a wall for. And we talked about those injuries at the running back spot where you've had Bo Jackson and Isaiah West just standing on the sideline through spring. And it does give opportunity for younger guys, but it also is frustrating from a coaching standpoint because you do want to do a little bit of install with your new offensive coordinator just to see how things look. And when you don't have key components, it's tough. Here's Carlos Loughlin on that.
I hear all the concerns. I have no concerns. I just smile every day I come into this building because I know what the room is. But, adversity introduces a man to himself. All right? Every player, every coach going to have some adversity. Spring, you expect that. Jacoby's been doing a good job. I'm excited by Favor Key. I know everybody hear me screaming at him, getting on him. But you talking about a kid that you can coach hard, that has the right mindset. And then, the one kid that nobody talks about that helps us tremendously is Stanley Jackson Jr. He comes out, do his job every day. But I'm excited about this room. You talking about Bo and Isaiah should be better than year 2. And then, Turbo getting healthy, and Legend is Legend. That means that this kid got a chance to be really good. But I said the same thing last year about 2 other kids. That was Bo Jackson and Isaiah West. This kid got a chance to be really good.
Yeah, fair to say he knows running backs. He's saying the exact same thing about Bo Jackson last season. Bo Jackson rips off 1,000 yards in his true freshman year. So there's a lot to look forward to from that position. And, for the spring game, you usually get your spring game heroes. So I know that Legend Bay has been dealing with some injuries, or has been dealing with an injury through spring, so his time's been limited. But he's one of those guys that if he's healthy, I could see go out there and be a spring game hero.
Well, yeah, just because he's so, I mean, from everything we've heard, this kid is like one of the best athletes that we've seen come through, Ohio State. So it would be exciting. I would probably, I don't know, be surprised if they do throw him out there on the spring game, because he's been battling some stuff. Just like the last week of spring ball. Do you want to, push that? But, usually somebody always kind of pops out in the spring game. I know like Bam Childers used to go off in the spring games back in our days. Yeah, he'd always have like 2 or 3 touchdowns, and, it'd be a lot of fun. But, those are also different. I don't know what the format for Saturday is going to be. I'm not sure that they've brought that out or talked about it.
I haven't seen anything yet.
But I imagine, it's not going to be that 4-quarter game that we had back in the day. It's going to be some situational stuff, some field goals in front of the crowd, just, putting these guys in kind of controlling, what they're doing. All right, we got 4th and 1 or we got 3rd and 11 here. We're just switching these kinds of things up. And then maybe you let the younger guys go and scrimmage a little bit towards the end. But I would hope that's what we see.
I love that he mentions Turbo Rogers there because I feel like that's a guy, everybody's kind of forgotten about because he had injuries last year and didn't really play. And then Legend Bay has burst on scene here, and everybody's talking about his explosiveness and his speed that he has. Turbo Rogers is a guy that has a little bit of a burst, too. I don't think you get the nickname Turbo without having a little bit of that. I also... you got to love Coach Locke's positivity because Ryan Day doesn't seem like he's very happy with what he's seen from the running game this spring. And I think that's twofold. It's injuries not only in the running back room, but on the offensive line, too. But he seemed to be really frustrated every time he's talked about it.
I do have this question for you, Justin. In any of the springs that you participated in, was the head coach ever happy?
No, I mean, they're very even keel, especially with the staff we had back in the day. You didn't get too much of the...
Wasn't too high.
It wasn't too high. It was always kind of just here. And, the way Tress did it was just, he would just always give you a little jab, as you're walking out the field. And it's like, what does that mean? Now I got to think about that the rest of the night, but it was never like yelling or getting, in face. Like, it was just kind of like, all right, this is what we do, and this is how we go about it. Yeah.
Because if you hear from all of these coaches, all of these head coaches, and they go, well, if we played tomorrow, we get our asses kicked. Or we played tomorrow, things wouldn't go well. And so I think, for coaches like Carlos Lachlan, it's, just being in football and seeing guys get better. And if your coaches, you're thinking of the bigger picture, as in, boy, if we had Texas tomorrow, things would not be going well. And I think it does build to Baker's point of we got injuries, so we can't do everything that we want to do because you have time until Ball State, but you also don't have time, if that makes sense, where the sense of urgency's always got to be there. And yeah, it's not near the kind of monumentous opponent that you had week 1 of last season. You've still got Texas week 2, and then you've got more of a gauntlet of the schedule this season. So you're always kind of thinking about that in the back of your head. And to the spring game, I was just interested to see how, if it looks at all any different with Arthur Smith. Maybe scheme, you'll probably see a bunch of big boy formations that'll be shouts out to Woody Hayes and Ohio State offenses of yesteryear. But Carlos Lachlan, and he talked on Friday about the idea that he's had a different offensive coordinator, I think, every season he's been in Columbus.
Exciting because I get to learn. I'm a sponge. I'm always trying to learn, and all these guys are different in some aspect. If you ain't willing to grow and learn, and you continue to stay the same in this business, boy, you'll be out of here. So I'm constantly trying to learn. I think Jerome may have said this right here. When my end comes, I want you to find me conquering a new mountain and not sliding down the old one. So I'm constantly trying to get better.
Always the opportunist.
I love that.
Right? You're always seeing, Arthur Smith this season. You had Chip Kelly. You had, even Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien was here for a couple of weeks. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they had a meeting together, right?
Ryan Day, Brian Hartline, all of these different offensive minds that you can learn from. And yeah, I think where some would see frustration, some with injuries would see concern. Here's Carlos Lachlan out here going, I don't care. Let's learn. Let's get better.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that just has to do with the trust they have in Ryan Day and bringing these guys in. Because, I mean, Arthur's going to come in here and, bring his own little flavor of what he likes. But he's going to put it into what Ryan Day likes and what, what it looks like. It's not going to look like a totally different offense.
Sprinkled with Arthur Smith.
Exactly. He's going to throw in, and maybe the blocking schemes are, hey, I think we can do this better. Or, maybe he brings in some of that. But the overall look, I don't think is going to be too drastic.
I did want to ask you guys about this because you look for the last couple of weeks at some of the guys. I think of the 10 Buckeyes that have lost black stripes, 3 of them have been wide receivers. You got Brock Boyd, the freshman out of Texas, Kyle Parker from LSU, Devin McCune from UTSA. And last year, Ohio State's offense, it was really, when you're throwing the football, it was Jeremiah and it was Carnell. And this year, you would think it's Jeremiah and it's Brandon. But then I keep thinking in the back of my head, well, they've also got Chris Henry. They've also got the aforementioned Brock Boyd and Devin McCune. And I wonder, will they make – because I think you've got to be intentional about it when you're going to – if you're saying all of this about some of these guys in the spring, you reward them in the season, right? But – if you're going to kind of keep it the same offensively, and Ryan Day's also talked about establishing the pass game with the run, and we kind of lament that, Justin, on this show, especially like, let's do it the other way. Let's set up the run with the pass because you're a football Ferrari with Jeremiah Smith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with that. There's different ways to look at it, different ways of game plans going in. Like, all right, we want to eat some clock up. We want to slow it down right away. So I mean, all that kind of comes into play on what you want to go and how you want to set up your offense, but. Watching these receivers, and you do want to, when you have guys splash in the spring, you think, Bryson Rogers was with somebody who had kind of flashed the last couple of years. Spring ball, just, the 1 or 2 times I get down, he's making some plays.
He was a guy
and then you get to the season, and it's like, I think he was injured early in the year, so maybe that kind of hurt him a little bit, but now he's down in South Florida. So you wonder how you can get all these, because you have, I went to the Student Appreciation Day. JJ is JJ. Chris Henry hasn't even lost his black stripe yet, but he is humongous. Yeah. Just a big dude for a freshman. Brock Boyd, smooth, looked good. And then you had the McEwens and, there's like 3 other guys who were just kind of all mixing in. Yeah. And they all can do something a little bit different. They all have their own skill sets, but, man, they were flying around doing a lot of crossers. They were doing a lot of, getting a lot of those guys out there and getting them reps. So I think we're going to see a lot of rotation. I think they feel good about the depth, and we've heard that a lot this spring. Even when you lose 14 guys, somehow the depth is pretty good here. Maybe the high end isn't as great, but you have a lot of depth, and I think at that receiver spot, you got to figure it out, because they're going to want to take JJ away, and then you have all these other weapons. So how do we use them? And I think that's going to be part of the thing that, Arthur and Ryan are going to have to come together and really try and figure that out.
Reese, my thought on this, and it'll be interesting to see how Cortez Hankin handles his receiver rotation. But I don't think this offense is going to look any different this year than it did last year.
That's
I think you're going to. I think you're going to see a lot of 12 personnel.
Our red zone is different.
a lot of 13
down
personnel.
In the red zone.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith's favorite player of all time is Jonnu Smith. That's a tight end. Ryan Day. The first thing he mentioned last week, who was impressed, he mentioned the tight ends. I think you're going to see, and again, you don't know how Cortez Hankton is going to handle this. I think you're going to see Jeremiah Smith. I think you're going to see Chris Henry Jr., and I think you're going to see Brandon Ennis, and it's going to be 3 receivers, just like last year, that's going to get a majority of the playing time. And I just think we want Ohio State to open it up, but I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, I don't know. You said the Ferrari thing earlier, and it really is that. So it's like you want those guys to be on the field, and you have a second-year quarterback who you should trust. Yeah, you should have a lot of trust in
leader out there.
Truly insane.
Even though he's not the alpha, because Jeremiah Smith's going to be the alpha on any team that he exists with.
But the quarterback's always a little bit different, and he's in charge, and I feel that he's taking over, and and it's just small things. Hey, I need you, getting the receiver. I need you here because this is where I'm going to put the ball, and this is why I'm going to put it there. And just having that confidence and bravado about him, I think is something that. Maybe he comes out of his shell a little bit because it's always been he's so he's so cool. He's
California
cool.
Quiet.
Yeah, he's quiet, and that's
confident.
who he is. But I think he needs to bring that out of him a little bit. And I think Ryan's probably been working on him about that a little bit.
And that's what we want. What about in a player does Ryan Day want? You'll hear from him next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, what are we wearing?
Lie detectors. Anytime a lie is detected, we get a little shock.
All right, let's try them. So, Pella was rated by homeowners as the leading window brand here in Columbus.
Nothing? Okay. Well, our windows can change the look of your home. Ow. This thing sometimes shocks you when you tell the truth. Ouch. It's okay. I'm having fun.
Get the windows that can change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Over 90,000 five-star reviews don't happen by accident. They happen by putting people first. Fixing your garage doors is what we do. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Door Service today.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Columbus Worthington Air. A seasonal tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. It all adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Columbus Worthington Air and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Whatever it takes. Visit cwaohio.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 47543.
Catch Ohio State baseball all season long on The Fan 2. You can find the magical land of The Fan 2 by tuning into 1460 on your AM dial or clicking on The Fan's HD2 feed. Tyler Danberg thanks you. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I love my Kubota tractor, RTV, and zero-turn I got from Green & Sons, and you can check them out online at greenandsons.com or visit them in store in Mount Sterling or north of Marysville and Raymond for all your Kubota needs.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring is here, and it's time to hit the road with something new from Germain Toyota. Right now, get into a rugged 2026 Toyota Tundra with just 2.99% financing for up to 72 months. Power, performance, and capability ready for every spring adventure. Or cruise into the season with a 2026 Tacoma SR5 for only $299 a month for 36 months and $39.99 due at signing. Fresh deals, fresh rides. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net.
The weather in Central Ohio just got better, so why shouldn't your loan rate? CME Federal Credit Union wants to try to beat your current loan rate by 2% on autos and toys. Plus, no payments for 90 days on car loans and 60 days on motorcycles, boats, and more. Go to CMEFCU.org today.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. They've all been paid by the Cleveland Browns. This is Bishop and Friends.
I know that's true with myself and Ryan Baker, but Justin Zwick, have you ever been paid by the Cleveland Browns?
Unfortunately, I have not been paid. I tried to get paid up there one time. I just tried to send them some information on myself, and they didn't get back to me.
No, it's not something I mean,
what could have hurt, right?
Yeah.
You know, why not?
They might need a camp arm. You know, Justin, I've been thinking about this over the last couple of weeks where Todd Monken, first-year head coach, he comes in and looks at his quarterback room. It's Deshaun Watson, it's Shedeur Sanders, it's Dylan Gabriel. You have to, because this is your first season, think I can win with one of these guys. Now, most fans would be like, you probably can't win with any of them. So you would think, all right, maybe he goes in and gets his guy, whether that's through the draft or that's through free agency. But I can't imagine, because you're a Browns fan, right?
Yeah.
And I say the same thing when people ask me that question, too. Expect them to go into camp with the three quarterbacks that I mentioned and nobody else.
I don't see that happening, no. I mean, the last I heard Monken talk was like, well, Dylan, I haven't seen him. He hasn't been around. So it's like, I don't know if he's just like expecting them to be released.
He's still trade him or something?
Yeah, I mean, he's still under contract. He's only had 1 year there.
It boggles my mind with Gabriel because you would think that if you have a new head coach and you've got maybe not the same opportunity to start that Shedeur or that Deshaun does, but they're no better really. They've got their warts. You've got your warts. The things you do kind of well, they struggle with. So it would behoove him, I think, to be in.
And you have a clean slate, new staff coming in, new everything. So when I heard that, now maybe he's been in since that happened. You know, I mean, I'm sure time has went by, but it kind of blew my mind to hear that. And I'm like, does he already know that he's shipped out? So in that case, we need two new quarterbacks to come in, and we're going to need a couple arms for camp.
I would think in the situation that Gabriel finds himself in, you would almost have to kick me out of the building. Because
yes, Coach. Hey, welcome to your first day. I was already here waiting for you.
Waiting outside your door, like, hey, how we doing?
I want to get into meet with you as soon as you get some time. I want to go over this and that and the other. This is what I've been working on, and this is you would think that has happened, but up to that point it hadn't. But yet, Deshaun, who knows? Maybe
Oh, boy.
Maybe this is a clean slate for him, and, he's healthy and can come get back to form, but
QB1.
This is as clean
all
of a
we have
slate.
is hope for Cleveland fans.
This is as clean of a slate, Justin, as Deshaun Watson's ever had. Outside of being drafted, this is it. Because when he came to Cleveland, there was a lot. And I'm not going to have to, I don't want to get into it because it wouldn't be good for my mental health. But what Deshaun's got right now is his best opportunity with the Cleveland Browns. And same with Shedeur. And even same with Dylan Gabriel. So we're 10 days out. I think it is it's consensus between Baker and I. You get Carnell Tate at 6.
Please.
Because I do think that gives you the best opportunity to really evaluate these quarterbacks. He's the best wide receiver in a position of need. Baker's been saying for the longest time, best player in the draft is Caleb Downs. And he's not wrong. I just think for the Browns, that the need is so much greater.
The need is what they have to be looking at.
But if they took Caleb Downs, I wouldn't hate the pick.
There's just so much more I think they need, and that is where the NFL becomes, that's the issue. Like if there was a tackle that was like a Joe Thomas tackle and you could get him at 6, I'd be like, go for it. I'm okay with that because we can, if you have more time to throw the ball, maybe you don't need as good as a receiver.
It's the Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase argument from now until the end of time is do you get the weapon or do you get the guy to protect the guy throwing the ball to the weapon?
Yeah.
It's something that was, I think it was last week, Ryan Day appeared on Cam Haywood's Not Just Football podcast, and the clips started making the rounds over the weekend about Ryan Day talking about just kind of the mindset of the recruit they expect at Ohio State.
But I think it's just across the board at Ohio State. There's an expectation when you come here, you're coming to be a first or second rounder, regardless of your position. And that's it. Just like, if we don't win games and championships, they're going to find a new coach. Well, if you're not a first or second rounder, then this probably isn't the right place for you. And that's just the reality of it.
Now, I know there was a lot of opinions offered on this, but it seemed pretty simple to me is they're looking for guys that look at themselves in the mirror and say, you're going to the league.
Yes, because they're going into the portal now saying we want to bring guys in who are a little bit more mature, who have this experience. And, hey, by the way, you got 1 year left. We have an offensive coordinator from the NFL who's been a head coach. We have a defense coordinator who's been a head coach in the NFL. Like, why would you not want to come learn before you go to that job interview, the biggest one of your life? Why would you not want to come to Ohio State, make some money, and learn from one of these offensive coordinators and learn from Ryan Day and learn from this program? Because you see, over the last however many years, these dudes that go into the league from Ohio State are ready to play, and they are getting big contracts, and they are Pro Bowlers, and they're some of the best in the league. So I don't understand. I mean, a lot of kids do come here, so yes, it does happen, but they are setting themselves up really nicely, I think.
I think it's a mindset, right? Maybe that there's more that Ryan is talking about.
Exactly
there.
What he's talking
it's
about.
It's like, hey, I'm good enough to do this. I want to be this, and I want to be that. And he's also talking about, I'm sure, guys that are coming here to start and play big minutes. Justin Martin, who has transferred her, I don't think Justin Martin. Maybe he thinks somewhere in the back of his head he's going to get in there and play. But Justin Martin is a third-string quarterback on this team at best. He's coming here because he knows that his football career is coming to an end. And I think he's a guy that's coming here to learn from these guys too. Maybe he wants to be a coach moving on. That's where his future in the game is. But guys that are coming here to get on the field, like Christian Allegro, he's not... he needs to come here with a mindset that I'm going to be a first-round linebacker. Dominic Kelly needs to come here with a mindset that I'm going to give Devin Sanchez hell getting on this field, and I'm going to be a top pick. It's that mindset that's really...
To your point, Justin, like if you're Allegro, I'm going to learn from a guy who's, I think, still at the top of the Los Angeles Rams all-time tackles list. I've got Matt Patricia as my defensive coordinator, who's won however many Super Bowls as a defensive mind with the New England Patriots. If I got a recruit in the building, I'm just showing them the particulars from Jackson Smith and Jigba's contract and say, why can't this be you? Because they're going to recruit the type of players they believe can be molded into that. If the player can believe in themselves that I can, in fact, be this, here's the most money you will ever have. Here's the most money you, your parents, your grandparents, your children, your grandchildren, their children will ever see in their life in almost one paycheck.
Yeah.
Is what
well, and I mean, wait until next week because we're going to have, I mean, there's what, three of our guys maybe in the top 10?
Maybe top 5.
Possibly 4 in the top 10.
Right?
Probably
so I mean, it's
4.
like just
5 in the first round.
If you're thinking next year you're in the portal and you're like, I want to go somewhere, you go to Ohio State.
Speaking of developed here, because I think that's the mantra you see all over the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, Brian Hartline is going to join the program next Monday at 9:30. South Florida is wrapping up their spring ball this week, but Hartline will be kind enough to give us some of his time next Monday at 9:30 and give us a little bit on Carnell Tate and kind of what it's like to prepare that guy for the moment that he's going to find himself in 10 days in Pittsburgh. Ryan Day will speak this morning at 11. We'll carry the comments live on the Fan when he takes the podium. So we'll have to blitz the weekend coming up next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
There's an old story about cat toys that's been retold for over 20 years because it perfectly explains who we are. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Years ago, a couple who shared their house with 3 cats had another company out to look at their furnace. After working on it, the technician said it was dangerous and had to be replaced. The couple called Care for a second opinion, and my dad Mike went out to help them. When he inspected the furnace, the cause of the problem became obvious. A cat toy had been stuffed into the heat exchanger. With the toy removed, the furnace ran perfectly. Now, how did the toy get there? You can decide for yourself, but here's what mattered then and still matters now. The first company paid commissions to their service techs to sell new furnaces. At Care, we pay our technicians to fix furnaces, not sell you a new one. And if a new furnace is needed, our team of replacement specialists will advise you on all options available and help you make your best choice. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
The new Omaha Steak Store is now open at 1033 Polaris Parkway at Polaris Commons. Stop in today and save 50% store-wide on legendary steaks, burgers, and more. Plus, get doorbuster deals starting at just $19.99. Discover the Omaha Steaks difference today at the new store at Polaris Commons in Columbus.
Hey, it's Anthony. By now you know my good feet story, but the point I try to get across is that it's an ongoing one for me. For as long as I can remember, it's always been about my lower back. But when I got fitted for my personal arch supports, it's been an absolute game changer. I feel better. They take all the stress off my back. I feel supported and aligned, and you don't hear me complain about it the way I used to. I could feel the difference instantly, and I didn't have to wait to feel that difference. Once I got fitted, popped them in my shoes, took the test walk around the store, and now on a daily basis, everything feels better. And that's what I mean about an ongoing story. This journey to feeling more comfortable makes everything better. You can make an appointment online or just stop into the Good Feet store in Grove City or the one on Polaris Parkway in Westerville, and their experts will personally fit you. Then do what I did. Take a test walk around, and you will feel the difference. Do your feet a favor. Get started at goodfeet.com.
This spring, celebrate the sparkle that she brings to your life with something that sparkles right back. Whether it's for Mother's Day, an anniversary, or just because, Diamond Cellar has the perfect gift for the women who mean the world to you. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Selma Road and at Easton Town Center.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone here for Window Nation. Spring has arrived, and it'll be a great time to open your windows, but oh wait, your windows don't open easily. They leak when it rains. They've got cracked glass. They need repainting again. Ugh. Getting top quality custom fit windows from Window Nation, that's easy and affordable. Right now, during the More You Buy, the More You Save sale, you could save up to 50% off all your windows. Plus, you could get them with 0 interest for 5 years. During uncertain times, one of the best investments you can make is in your home. Experts report that windows retain 80% of their value. With Window Nation, you'll get windows that easily slide open and closed. They are made with top quality seals so they won't leak when it's rainy or windy. And unlike other windows, they're maintenance free. They're so good, Window Nation stands behind them with a lifetime warranty. And they're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Save big with Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale. Going on now. Sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com for your consultation.
We all plan to be on time, but fender benders, damaged windshields, and slick roads can quickly disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design personal protection plans that work for you and help keep you on track. To get started, find an agent at shelterinsurance.com. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. MoneyPuck.com says the Blue Jackets have a 6% chance to make the playoffs. You're telling me there's a chance. Blue Jackets fell to the Bruins 3-2 last night at Nationwide. They lost control of their playoff destiny by doing so. They now need the Flyers to lose their last 2 games in regulation, and Columbus must beat Washington at Nationwide on Tuesday for the postseason dream to be realized. Philadelphia hosts Carolina tonight at 7. In college football, Ohio State will hold their annual spring games Saturday at noon. OSU's head coach Ryan Day will speak with the media around 11 o'clock this morning. We'll carry those comments live on the Fan when he takes the podium. In golf, Rory McIlroy won the 90th Masters Sunday. He held off Scotty Scheffler and Justin Rose. He joins Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods as the only back-to-back champs in Masters history. The next major is the PGA Championship next month outside of Philly. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Eric Reeser, Justin Zwick, Ryan Baker with you on this Monday. You heard there in the update, Ryan Day, around 11 o'clock this morning as the Buckeyes round out spring practices. They've got 3 this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the annual spring game at noon at Ohio Stadium. So as we await Ryan Day at 11 o'clock, we got to move things around on the schedule this morning. We will have Austin Ward at 11:30. He'll join at his regular time, so excited to get his thoughts on kind of what he's gotten from the spring, what he expects from the spring game, and then Buckeyes in the NFL draft. That's in 10 days. But right now, we got to blitz the weekend.
Bishop and Friends present a weekend sports blitz.
Sponsored by Metal Supermarkets. Visit metalsupermarkets.com/Columbus for all your metal needs.
All right, Justin, because I did a horrible job properly preparing you for this segment, and I apologize, we're going to start with Baker on this, and then I'll go and kind of give you a sense of how this thing rolls. Get a feel for it, yep. So, Baker, from the weekend, what did you have?
So I know there's time for this to change, but I believe I had that the OSU basketball team wasn't going to do anything spectacular in the portal. Justin Pippen, an okay pickup, comes from Cal. Via the route of Michigan. I actually don't like that, by the way. I think there should be a rule that Ohio State and Michigan players can't transfer between the two. I dislike that a lot, but Justin Pippen is going to be here now. Andre Jelovic coming in from Kentucky, a 6'11 Croatian. Watching some highlights. This game kind of reminds me of Christoph Tilley. He's a little better around the basket than Tilley, though, but he's a 6'11, the guy that can slash a little bit. A fine addition. He's going to help with your depth at the center position, but nothing that's like, wow, we got that guy.
Not a lot of excitement for next year's basketball season.
There's still time. Look, the portal closes on April 21st.
Anthony Thompson, there's excitement there, but...
I mean, you were with Amari Bynum yesterday and Junie Mobley. You guys were out at the Ohio State 4 miles.
Yeah, I asked them, I was like, what do you guys got? What are you into right now? And they're just like, nothing.
Their season just ended.
I know. I'm like, well, you got people coming in and you guys like taking them out, like recruiting trips, type things. Oh, yeah, we're doing some of that, so they're just living the dream right now. I
believe I had from the weekend, the Cavs are the 4, and that's a good thing. Justin, you just have to avoid the Boston Celtics until the Eastern Conference Finals.
Isn't that what they were trying to do?
Yes. And mission accomplished. Hang the banner. I'm all right to do right now. All right, from the weekend, Justin, what did you have?
So every year for the Masters, we do a little poll where you get so much money to you get your roster. Whoever goes on to the weekend, Rory is always my guy, along with Patrick Reed. So those two guys helped me get up there, but Patrick didn't finish it out like Rory did. But yeah, I had Rory going back to back in the Masters.
From the weekend, Baker, I did not have that. What did you not have?
So I did not have, and I'm a big UFC guy, you know that. I did not have Yuri Prohaska, who was fighting for the third time, I believe, for the middleweight title of the world. I did not have him on the verge of victory and then just feeling bad for Carlos Ulberg and kind of letting up. And then Ulberg, who in the process of Prohaska knocking him down, tore an ACL, I guess, gets up and knocks Prohaska out, and he loses. He's 0-3 now in title fights. I did not have a UFC fighter feeling bad for someone.
So he tore it in the match?
Yeah, he got punched and almost knocked out, and the way he fell, it tore the ACL, but he ended up getting up and winning.
Double whammy, but then you get to win.
Okay,
All
so
right.
he's the champion, but is probably going to have to forfeit his belt as he's out for a year.
Yeah.
I did not have the Guardians getting done like that in Atlanta. So they were bombed 13-1 last night to where they had position players out there pitching the latter parts of the game because why the heck not? We don't need to tax our bullpen with a game that's been out of hand, I should say, since the fifth inning. 14-6 in their two losses Friday and Sunday. They did win 6-0 on Saturday. So if you're a fan of runs, the Guardians and the Braves gave that.
No, they gave you a bunch of them. And that's one thing I did not have was me watching the Guardians last night.
Yeah.
And I think the Guardians do not want me to watch ever again because as soon as I tuned in, it was not good.
How much attention did you pay to Corey Kluber and CeCe Sabathia in the booth? What did you think of just their kind of interaction?
I thought it was okay. Yeah, I mean, I caught maybe 2 innings of it.
That's really all you need.
Well, but at that point in time, I'm like, yeah, this isn't worth it. This is going downhill quick.
From the weekend, player who impressed, Bake.
So I think there's just one right answer here, and it's Rory McIlroy. Yeah. And one of the reasons, Reese, as you mentioned, I'm a hater of Rory, is I dislike when people tell me that people are great, but yet I don't see that performance on the field. It's why I don't like Justin Herbert. Everybody tells me this guy's the greatest quarterback in the world, and he's never won anything. Well, Rory had gone 12 years without winning anything. And when I say that, I mean majors, and that's what we judge these golfers by. Well, Rory now has 6 of them, and he's got the Grand Slam, and he went back-to-back at Augusta. Only 4 people have ever done that. Rory has now proven some of the greatness to me. I still don't love people going on Twitter saying he's never going to lose again, and he's in God mode, but he has proven he is one of the greats, so Rory impressed me.
I was impressed with Buckeye Nation. More than 12,000, Justin, showed out for the Ohio State 4-miler yesterday. And I wanted to go in and run it just in 40 minutes. If I can do average of 10 minutes a mile and survive, I survived without bloody nipples.
There you go.
It's a good day for me, but Ohio State, Buckeye Nation, and just the support that event gets in its 14th year, and to have former players like yourself and Bobby Carpenter out there, and to have current players and Amari Bynum and Junie Mobley there, it was one big Ohio State group hug, and it's the coolest annual pre-spring game tradition I think exists.
Yeah, it's been really cool. I've been to basically all of them, and to see where it started back in the day to where it's kind of grown to now, and now you're able to get the current players in because they're all on the NIL
That's
deals.
Awesome to have Julian Saint ringing the victory
and that
bell
was surprising
to start
because you had all the other guys down by the stage area with their jerseys on, and we're talking, and Tyvis and Bobby and myself, and a lot of guys are on stage. Katie Smith was there with some of the women's basketball team as well, but and then they're like, all right, Julian Saint's here. We're like, no, he's not. I'm like, where's he at? I haven't seen him. And he's up in the, we're ringing the bell today. And it's like, all right, cool. And they're like, he's there. Trust us. We'll post the video here in a couple minutes. And we're like, all right. But it was an awesome thing to see yesterday with all those people out. Player who impressed me, Scotty Scheffler, going through the weekend at the Masters with no bogeys. I think he had, 9 birdies, maybe 1 eagle, put himself into, I loved what he said after Saturday. I got a chance now, and he knew, he felt going into that Sunday he was going to have a chance. And, we were talking earlier, if he just mixed maybe 1 or 2 of those putts that he had a good look at, with that bogey on 18 for Rory, it could have been a different story. But, to go through that weekend with how hard that course is playing, to not have a bogey, I mean, that was pretty special.
Player who disappointed, Bake.
Unfortunately, Jay-Z, for me, this is a former teammate of yours and Ted Ginn Jr. Mm-hmm. Like, anytime you get a DUI, that's bad. You should never do that. But right before your team is playing their 3rd game of the season, a team that has struggled early on in their first season, which probably was a little bit expected, and Teddy getting his feet wet here, learning on the fly as a head coach. Just a bad situation overall for the Aviators, and don't like seeing this new team here in Columbus early on having to deal with this.
Yeah, I'll echo that sentiment as well. Also, Justin Rose falling apart on the back nine.
Oh.
How about you, Justin?
The old guys.
I had Justin Rose. That 3-putt on 15, he had an eagle shot. He was down 2, and he fills it up. He can putt the ball. You know, I mean, he's really good. He goes out and 3 putts for a par right there. Like, that was like when you knew he was out of it.
I mean, he'll only remember that forever. And it's it made, again, the drama on Sunday was phenomenal.
Hey, good for him, though. His tweet, he said, "I'll keep knocking on the door. I'll see you next year, Augusta."
Got four second-place finishes there, I think? I mean, it's
3.
pretty incredible. Is it 3?
Because Scotty was second yesterday.
Okay, fair enough.
Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week, Bake.
For me, it's Pat Kelsey, the head coach of Louisville men's basketball. What a haul in the transfer portal for Louisville this weekend. Getting Flory Badunga of Kansas, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, just a heck of a player and a wrecker around the rim. And then they also got a guard, Jackson Shellstead out of Oregon, who is a kid that can shoot it a little bit from 3, averaged 16 points a game for Oregon last year. Louisville right now with the undoubted #1 portal class in men's college basketball.
John Tortorella's got the Vegas Golden Knights in the
Tors.
playoffs 2 weeks after being hired. That's incredible. How about for you, Justin?
I got Coach Mark of the Terminators yesterday. 6 and 7-year-old co-ed soccer. Mark, they kept the team together. They may have lost the game, but the kids had a great time swarming around. And then the most important thing of the day, the snacks. Blue Gatorade, which is the best.
Yeah.
And the coach and his wife, you know, they had some good goodies there for the kids. So it was a great day out there. Coach Mark did a great job there.
What do snacks look like for 6 and 7-year-olds?
You get your Gatorade, you get your, chocolate chip bar, type thing. And then they had some gummies, I believe. So, a little bit for everybody.
We had the Scooby-Doo gummies were always undefeated, and the High C box, which I think were all like artificially flavored and were neon, and you kind of wonder like how we survived to this age. But here we are. We're still kicking. You had mentioned Julian Sain ringing the victory bell yesterday, and you've kind of over the spring seen him come out of his shell. What more should be expected of Ohio State's QB? We'll discuss that next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. April's the perfect time to reset your home for the long run, and Universal Windows Direct makes that decision easy. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free, and there's no limit. The more you upgrade, the more you save. Plus 24 months with no payments and no interest. And if you need some more, how about a $500 bonus off your home improvement project? Schedule your free estimate today. Call 614-502-5220, universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Spring is here, and there's no better place to make memories than the Columbus Zoo. See tigers up close, watch playful otters, and see the baby elephants in action. For a limited time, take advantage of our Zoo After 2 p.m. deal. Plan your adventure at columbuszoo.org.
Sex, intimacy, love. These 3 things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're ED experts, with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
This is Gordon Miller for Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost mortgage. If you've been in the market for a new home or just wanted to take advantage of lower rates, recent events have shown exactly why Miller Lending chose to offer a way around bad timing with our no closing cost program. With no fees rolled in or charged, including the cost of title insurance, you can simply close on today's rates and refinance free of charge as rates improve. Over the past several months, we spoke to numerous borrowers who had heard rates were coming down and chose to wait. We explained that if rates did fall, you could simply update a few documents and refinance again, but why take the chance? So when rates spiked to 0.5% recently, Not only was I disappointed that we couldn't help those who waited, but also for those buying a home who just saw a sharp increase to their monthly payment. So while we can't control the market, we can offer an alternative. Eliminate timing and say goodbye to closing costs forever. 877-9-NO-COST or simply apply online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Last year, Eric Reeser and T-Bone staged the first annual Fan 5K. People had a good time and no one died. So we decided to do it all again. It all goes down Saturday, June 20th in Otterbein.
Presented by The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center.
Will Reeser's muscular calves explode? Will T-Bone's beard choke him while running? More importantly, will Tyvus Common Man and Timmy make total fools of themselves? Maybe. Magic 8 Ball says signs point to yes. Register today at 971therace.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
This is Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel. If you're driving and take a quick glance at your phone, more can happen than you might think. Because taking your eyes off the road for even just a moment is like driving the entire length of a football field blind. Don't let those few seconds distract you from what's right in front of you. Phones down, eyes up, Ohio.
Ohio delivers elections you can trust through unparalleled accuracy. In every election, we feature a thorough bipartisan audit with a consistent 99.9% accuracy rate. Make your plan to vote at voteohio.gov. Absentee ballots must be returned by Election Day.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state. The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at onnradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Happy New Week, everyone. We will see a chance of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day today, although most of us will remain mostly cloudy and breezy with highs in around 80 degrees. For tonight, chances of showers and thunderstorms linger. Otherwise, most of us stay mostly cloudy with our lows into the 60s. And then for Tuesday, the gusty winds continue yet again with highs in the mid to low 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yes, it is. Eric Reeser, Justin Zwick, Ryan Baker. We got Austin Ward, great friend of the program, coming on in 13 minutes. And then because he's been on this show several times before, great friend of the program, Ryan Day. He won't join us, but he'll be available at 11 a.m. answering questions from the media after Ohio State wraps up their final Monday spring practice. We'll carry his press conference live on the Fan whenever he gets the podium. So, Justin, in your first foray into a Ryan Day presser day,
do it.
Got your dancing shoes on.
I remember back in my day, I've done a couple of those before in the press conferences.
We'll be all right. I think we'll be all right with this.
Reese, you know how Rothman and Ice during the season will they'll set an over-under on how long Ryan will be at the podium. Should we do an over-under on when he takes the podium?
All right, so 11 o'clock is the scheduled time.
Over-under's got to be, 11:15?
I do that.
It's pretty close.
I do 11:15. Baker. What did you have in mind?
I mean, I was thinking probably if we're doing an over-under, I was thinking like 11:18 was kind of the number. Because what was it? Last week we were told he was going to go early.
I'll split the middle here. 11:17 is what we'll do.
Okay.
Because, it was scheduled for 10:45 last week, and it was 11 o'clock, so...
A little after 11 o'clock.
I'm taking the over.
He's the head coach.
I bet it's closer to 11:30.
We as Ohio State fans, I don't think have any real concerns, but we have a lot of questions about what this team's going to look like on the field this fall. You got as grueling of a conference gauntlet as I can remember, Justin, and the teams are actually starting to be good in the conference. So, you don't have to worry. And I don't know. I hope this will manifest itself when the Big Ten releases their schedules. You take some big noon pressure off of the Buckeyes, but that remains to be seen. You've got Texas, obviously, week 2. That'll be in Austin. They're absolutely going to do a night game for that. So how this offense looks with new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, how things
51 new players.
51 new guys. And the cool thing about it with the 51 that they brought in, so many of them have played football at the highest level. And so it's not necessarily about teaching them how to do college football, but it's really getting them indoctrinated into the culture and seeing how they are as fits for Ohio State. A lot of offensive guys, a lot of new defensive guys. You know, you're asking the same question defensively you did last year. Well, you got to replace 8 starters. How are you going to do that? But there's confidence in this coaching staff that that's not going to be a real problem.
Yeah, and when we say 51, I mean, that was a big freshman class that we took too this year.
True.
I think, you know, so I mean, that it's not as big of a number of, you know, portal guys coming in, but I feel like the staff is really cautiously, you know, excited about the guys they brought in. You know, I think they feel like they hit on what they needed. Yeah. You know, because you're looking at, I mean, you got to think Matt Patricia. Hey, first year I have the best defense in the history of college football, and I'm going to lose 8 guys, and gosh, am I going to be able to do this again? You know,
for my next trick?
Yeah, you know, can I do this again? Can I pull a rabbit out of my hat again? And
probably
to do that, we got to go to the portal, and we got to get the right guys, and we got to fill these needs. And I think they are excited about the ones they brought in because I think, especially defensively, I think Matt's he's got a lot of. We talked about the depth. He's got a lot to work with. So even if you don't have the monsters like, you know, Sonny and Arvell, you still got a lot of great players, and he is so good at just finding out what they do well and putting them in the right situations. So I think who they've brought in, Earl Little in the backside of that, you know, some of the DBs coming in who are getting their feet wet, I think they're going to play and be a big part of this.
And Justin, as you mentioned on offense, you're replacing really Carnell Tate. And I think most of us, right, wrong, or indifferent, have always just kind of figured Chris Henry's going to slide right in there and you're not going to miss a beat because you've gone from Terry McLaurin to Olave to Wilson, you know, to America, Jackson Smith and Jigba. You've just kept rolling in that wide receiver room. So the defensive side of the ball is the thing. And everybody's like, well, I mean, what can you do? Well, everybody was saying the same thing last year when you replace an 8. And then you're like, well, how do you replace Jack and JT? How do you do that? I have no clue. How do you replace Denzel Burke? And well, yeah, Sonny Styles is generational, and Caleb Downs is generational, and Arvell Reese is a talent. Yeah. But Peyton Pierce is pretty good. Christian Allegro's pretty good. Riley Pettijohn's really good, and Caleb Downs is going to be tough. But Jalen McClain, it sounds like, is taking the next step. Earl Little Jr., Leroy Roker, a guy who came in 2 years ago, you're hearing good things about. So you may not have the single individual stars like you did on this team last year, but I still think Matt Patricia has enough ingredients to cook up a damn good defense.
And on the offensive side of things, you've got Jeremiah Smith, the best player in college football. You've also got a quarterback that will not have to go through a competition in the spring and in the fall. And I think, Justin, that's so important for what we want to see more from Julian, because from an on-the-field standpoint, I think it's all there. But I think at practices, I think in game situations, you want to see him really be that leader, but also take a couple more chances than you would because you don't have a Lincoln Keenholz. You don't have a guy looking over your shoulder ready to take the job from you.
Yeah, the tough thing about a quarterback competition is, and I remember back in my days, I mean, a long, long time ago, I remember walking off the field one time and the coach was like, can't have another day like today. And it's like, okay.
What does that mean?
Like, all right, well, I was trying to fit a couple things in, and, you know, but you're in a competition, and the other guy maybe didn't do that day. And so you're just like, you're always thinking about, gosh, I want to try this, but I'm just going to take the check down because it's the smart play, and I don't want to have something bad on film. And then once you're handed the keys and you really trust and feel that belief from the coaching staff, it opens up so much. I mean, my senior year in like high school, I called the offense.
Yeah.
Like they had that much trust in me. I felt that good about it. And I would bring receivers in and off the field who I wanted for certain routes. And I think that's kind of the next step for Julian of just owning this offense. And all right, coach, I got you. Like as soon as that play is spit out, started out of the mouth in the radio, I already know it. All right, we're on to it. Here we go. I got my checks. I know what we need to do. And I'm getting up to the line of scrimmage, and you just have that, that confidence that's just spilling out of you. And, we talk about the California cool kid and all that. I think that's the next step in a quarterback is just, this is my team. I'm taking ownership of it. They're going to know that I'm their leader and that I'm the guy that they can look at in any type of situation. And I'm going to have an answer for them. I'm going to be giving them, what they need. So that's his next. And I think going to the Heisman is a huge confidence boost in your first year, I'd imagine. Never got to. But I imagine that itself is like, man, I was pretty good last year. And then you come in, you get all the spring, you're the man. All this fun stuff is happening for you. You just got to make sure you're keeping your nose down You're studying that playbook, and you know that going into camp, I got everything else done. I just got to fine-tune everything. I got to get with my receivers, and we're just fine-tuning this offense, in these 3 or 4 weeks leading up to that first game. And I think Ryan has that fire in him, and I think he's probably trying to throw some of that into Julian just a little bit. Of like, we need you to be a little bit of a fiery guy. We want you stepping up in the pocket at times when it's right, when you feel it. And so I think that's what he's trying to bring out of him now. And I think the more he does it and the more comfortable and the more confidence he gets, like he goes out again, he's like, another 90% completion day. Like, this is nothing for me. Like, that's just going to, keep him going. And it's the sky's the limit.
And Justin, I love hearing you say that because you're someone who played that position before at this level. And a lot of people talk about, well, we want to see Julian run more. We want to see him use his legs more. And to me, that's not the thing. It's just taking the next step in the leadership role for him. And he's never going to be Will Howard. I don't believe in his vocalness and his outgoing with the media. Just not his personality, but you can still be that leader on the field and take command of the offense. And if you look at the quarterbacks who have won national championships in college the past few years, Fernando Mendoza. Now, he's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. I don't know if he should be or not, but he was a leader on that Indiana team. Will Howard, J.J. McCarthy, go back a few years, Stetson Bennett. Some of these guys you would never say are the greatest quarterbacks you've ever seen, but, man, they were great leaders of their football team. And that's the thing. That's where I want to see. And I have no doubt that Julian will. It's just the progression. And that's something that's hard to do in your first year as a starter.
And especially for Julian, and to your point, Justin, about keeping your head down and just doing the work, he's the quarterback at Ohio State, so he's going to be top 10 in Heisman odds when those things come out in the preseason. He's going to be preseason Big Ten first team.
Davey O'Brien, all
of that stuff's going to roll out, and he's also going to be, everything you could picture, because you're the quarterback at Ohio State, it's going to be Julian. And I just always think to, the demeanor that he's got, can that be pulled out of him before you start getting – I keep thinking back to Texas. Night game, your Arch Manning is across the field from you. Does it have to be pulled out before that game, or is that game where you can kind of earn that?
That actually is a good point. I think that might be a game where he could earn that, because you got to think, week 1, we get a half out of him.
Sure.
You would hope, a clean half where you're getting protected and you're just doing what you got to do. We put up enough points. You got your work done for the day. Now let's, maybe give you the first snap of the second half,
sure,
and then we're done with you. So maybe that night game at Texas is where it's like, ooh, stepped up, 3rd and 5. He went out and got 7.
Yeah.
That's that next. And I think a lot of that will just be, he's so calm in the pocket. I think there's just that and I hate to keep saying that, that fire in him, but it's just like that. Well, just knowing I got so much time back here, and I don't want to take a bad play. I don't want to take a sack, so I'm moving up towards the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden I don't feel it. I got to find a hole, and I got to get myself out of here. And just that, knowing and having that feel in the pocket, and just maybe the urge of ripping it down and going.
Look, the precedent's been set. The last 3 national champions have had fiery leadership in their quarterback play, and I keep thinking of the Texas game because you've got Arch, you'll have Julian. Those are probably the top 2 quarterbacks in the 2027 draft that most of the NFL is fawning over. So however he's able to present himself in that game is going to go a long way in his future, and he's not going to be able to not hear that because it's just human nature.
Oh, 1,000%. And that's going to be the biggest game of the weekend. All eyes will be there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be, it'll be the Heisman matchup.
Matthew McConaughey will be on the sideline.
First, second week of the season, all of a sudden we're determining the Heisman out of this one. But it's going to be a big game. And, I'm glad we have a game to get ready for it. And It wasn't like last year where we just came right into it. But, we were able to handle it last year with a lot of new guys playing for the first time. So, I imagine we'll be okay going down there again. But, they lost a lot of people as well. Everybody's
doing the same thing.
Everybody's doing the same thing, trying to figure it out. So, that could be – it's going to be a big game no matter what. But somebody's going to come out of that, one of those 2 quarterbacks, with a lot of hype going into the rest of the season.
One of our favorite humans, Austin Ward, joins in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Joseph Senta and Dr. Barry Zeta at Ohio Vein and Vascular are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. They can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free Healthy Leg Screening. 3 locations to serve you at Polaris, Reynoldsburg, and now open downtown. downtown. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, it's important to us that when you call Pella Columbus, you talk to a real person.
You should hear how smooth it is when you call us.
You calling right now?
Yep. Oh, here we go. New windows. No. New window. Operator.
Get the windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Kroger makes it easy to save on fuel. Just redeem the points you've earned to save up to $1 a gallon at the pump. See store for details. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Working your way through that home projects list, that means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your air conditioner or furnace. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain issues? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing problems? Call the Waterworks. HVAC breakdowns? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted and certified plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
He knows everything about the Buckeyes. He's been offered tens of dollars by a certain team to spill his secrets. He's told that certain team to go to hell.
Damn you all to hell!
He's Austin Ward.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Kids eat half off every Monday. Find a location and menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank Distillery.
All right, we now have half of the Roosters live show on this program. Eric Reeser, Justin Zwick, Ryan Baker. You heard big voice guy Austin Ward. You guys are at Roosters today doing the live show in advance of the spring game, Austin. What's your one thing you're looking for offensively from Ohio State at the spring scrimmage on Saturday?
Great question, and I'm glad I just realized right now why Justin asked what time we were recording Roosters today, late last week. I think, I don't expect to see a ton with the run game. I think we've spent, we're in the final week of spring camp here, 11 practices, wondering what Arthur Smith's impact would be on the run game and, what it would look like if there were going to be new schemes, how the personnel would look like. And we knew that Bo Jackson and Isaiah West injuries were going to limit that to some respect. But then you add in, some limited periods for Legend Bay and Turbo Rogers. And then the fact that, like 4 of the top 8 or 9 offensive linemen are also currently on the shelf. I feel like Saturday, if there's any expectation of seeing the ground game, you need to set those aside. So what does it look like when the football is in the air? There will be pass protection opportunities for a guy like Ian Moore. I think that will be worth watching, especially against some of the talented, edge threats that the Buckeyes have. But I think it's that next wave of receivers. What Jeremiah Smith can do. I would be surprised if he needed to play more than I wouldn't put him out there for any snaps, but he'll probably get, that first drive or two when they're and they won't go live and they won't hit him. But then, Kyle Parker, Devin McEwen, the transfer portal guys that they picked up, they've had really good camps by all accounts. Brock Boyd has generated a ton of conversation and interest amongst that true freshman class, which is also really talented. You've also got Phillip Bell and Desi Jones who could continue making a push and expanding that rotation. So, I always go in research to these spring games not expecting to see a ton of physicality, a lot of between the tackles running. So it does come down often to, command of the quarterbacks. If there's any accuracy, things that we can take note of, if there's anything that they show schematically that might be different, but then just a lot of one-on-one matchups with receivers and defensive backs. And I think we'll see plenty of that on Saturday.
Well, I think you went through every offensive group except for the one that is near and dear to my heart, the tight end room.
I know.
Ryan threw out some praise last week for the new guys, Hunter Welsing and Mason Williams. What have you seen from those guys? What can they do that we may be able to use? We lose Will Kazmarek last year, who was probably our best run blocker, and he actually, did some good stuff in the pass game as well. But can these guys take over for that? Nate Roberts is maybe the guy coming back that we're going to lean on there, but just a little bit of what you've seen from there or those guys this spring.
Yeah, it's another interesting one, Jay-Z, because, Bennett Christian has been out throughout spring camp. And when you're looking for someone who's going to do, I think, that dirty work and handle a lot of the run blocking responsibilities that Will Kazmarek did best, I think he's the one that you would look for. Nate Roberts wants to take all of that on his shoulders and be the top tight end that doesn't have to come off the field for the Buckeyes. I think he's on the right track. You and I both saw him on Student Appreciation Day about a week and a half ago. He looks completely different physically than he did in year one, which is to be expected from someone that's going from true freshman into their second year, second set of winter workouts, second spring camp, all that for him. I think that anytime that you're making this transition from, let's say, Northwestern or Ohio University into competing on a day-to-day basis in the Woody, it takes some time. Will Kazmarek, I think, would have been the first to attest to that when he came over from Athens. And, his first spring was, just trying to tread water as much as possible before truly getting comfortable and realizing that he belonged, that Ohio State had brought him in for a reason. And, Hunter Welsing has played a ton of football. And, being a seventh-year veteran guy, that you don't have to worry about him holding up physically, I don't think. And he's also done that in the Big Ten. You look at some of the, receiving work that he did for a Northwestern offense that was incredibly limited at quarterback. I think it gives you some reason to be excited that maybe, he could do some of the things that Max Clare did a year ago. Now, am I saying that he is going to be anywhere near as productive as Clare? No, I don't think that that's in the cards. But I do think that when you add in, there's been some reviews that Mason Williams is going to be able to slot in, and that Ohio tight end pipeline is alive and well, that he can do a lot of the Will Kazmarek things at a reasonably close level to what Kazmarek did a year ago. I think it's a good room. It's a deep room. I don't know that it's going to be constructed in the same way that maybe a year ago to feature them in the passing attack a ton. But also, if you're Ohio State, you don't need to, because you have 6 or 7 wide receivers that are going to demand the football a lot, and eventually Bo and Isaiah in the backfield. So if they can get high-level blocking and aggressiveness in the trenches, I think that's really all you need, and all the pieces are there for that.
Austin, you first started out here talking about the running game, and Carlos Loughlin talked late last week, and he was very positive because that's who Locke is. When Ryan Day has spoken about the running game this year, he didn't seem to be too happy, and I guess that's understandable when your top 2 running backs are out and you're missing some offensive linemen. Do you think that we have anything to worry about with the ground attack this season?
When the season rolls around, I would say no. And I think where the disagreement comes with Ryan Day's public comments and Carlos Loughlin's on Friday is that, I think Ryan Day is in that moment. He is looking at what the running back options are as we stand here right now, as they finish up practice in the indoor, in this final week of camp. And when you don't have Bo, Isaiah, when you are limited with Legend Bay and Turbo Rogers, and you're working with 2 guys primarily, you have 2 scholarship guys, and neither one of them have ever played it down at Ohio State, and Jacoby Jackson and Favor Aki, and then you're putting, Stanley Jackson Jr. to walk on, who Locke will praise him as well. He's done some impressive things on the practice field, but if that's all you're working with, that would give any coach reason for concern. It's difficult, I think, to separate yourself from what do you need to do to have the most productive practice in March and April, and who's going to be out there in September, because if they're not on the practice field, that makes it difficult to project. So I can kind of see the perspective, Bake, of both of these guys. Locke knows what his room looks like. He knows that, once you get a healthy version of Bo Jackson and Isaiah West, that's a backfield that most programs and most assistant coaches in the country would gladly trade for. One is, I think, a short-term perspective about, what the roster looks like in the moment. And I think Locke can zoom out a little bit more easily when he's got, just his position groups to focus on, which Ryan Day's got the whole program to think about. I do think that they're going to be fine. I think Bo said something on Friday when he was available that is definitely worth jotting down, which is that knee sort of started feeling banged up in the middle of that season. We know that he missed some time and then wasn't able to give full-time reps throughout that entire stretch. And when we thought about the lack of explosiveness that Ohio State showed in the ground game against Indiana and Miami, I think that's maybe what kept Bo Jackson from hitting some of that second level explosiveness and long gains and touchdowns. And so getting that cleaned up had to be a bigger priority than getting hit in March and April. I totally understand that. So getting him back full go, I've got a lot of confidence because he did still finish with 1,000 yards rushing as a true freshman.
Austin Ward, our guest. Catch him on the Roosters Live show with Justin Zwick, with Jeremy Birmingham, and Bobby Carpenter. They're taping that thing today, but YouTube's where you'll be able to get that and the beat. When the boot meets the ball against Ball State, Austin, how does this defensive front shape out?
It'll be dependent on. I know this is a cop out, but the personnel they're facing and what Matt Patricia's hoping to get done on a play-to-play basis. I think that there's going to be a lot more versatility, flexibility in both the personnel and the scheme. And I know that definitely sounds like coach speak, and that I might as well be just parroting Matt Patricia at this point. But I think that that's true because I don't know that when you look at this group that it is designed to just do one thing. Even when we talk about James Smith, that could be a 3 technique or a nose. When you talk about Edric Houston, he could win a rep on the edge. He's now over 305 pounds, but he's got multiple spots that he can play. Christian Allegro, Quay Rousseau, these guys have the ability to play, dropping back as a fourth linebacker or as an edge threat. So there's a lot, I think, of changes that we're going to see, I think, from week to week and maybe from game to game. The thing that you can count on, I think, for sure, is that Kenyatta Jackson is going to be a staple. He's got to be the unchangeable piece of that defensive line. I think he's also got to take a step forward from where he was a year ago to be more productive on the edge for Ohio State, if we're being honest about the goals that they need to reach. But, you've got, a group of 7 or 8 that I think can really be has the makings of being a dominant group up front. But none of it is a finished product at this point because, so few of them have played high leverage, meaningful snaps for Ohio State. I thought Larry Johnson, he's coming off of one of the best coaching performances of his career when he had to replace all 4 starters up front. He's only got 1 back this year, so it's a similar scenario that he's facing. And they had to dip into the portal to get some of this done. But I think there's still a good reason, I think, for optimism that they're going to get what they need from the Rushmen.
Austin Ward, our guest. Catch the beat, snap judgments, and the Roosters Live show at the Fans YouTube channel. Austin, thanks for the time this morning. We look forward to hearing your spring game thoughts as well as a little bit of draft conversation this time next week.
All right, see you guys.
And he joins courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. One of these days I'm going to have to figure out his Roosters order, because that's what I'm always curious with.
Well, with the new Austin, the order might have changed.
So is this, Awaken 180 Austin?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Are we doing
I think he's getting some Airbnbs.
Grilled chicken strips.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal.
They are.
I can confirm that. We will do Thing or Not a Thing coming up next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now, in store and online. Staples, that was easy.
Working your way through that home projects list, that means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your air conditioner or furnace. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain issues? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing problems? Call the Waterworks. HVAC breakdowns? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted and certified plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost mortgage. If you've been in the market for a new home or just wanted to take advantage of lower rates, Recent events have shown exactly why Miller Lending chose to offer a way around bad timing with our no closing cost program. With no fees rolled in or charged, including the cost of title insurance, you can simply close on today's rates and refinance free of charge as rates improve. Over the past several months, we spoke to numerous borrowers who had heard rates were coming down and chose to wait. We explained that if rates did fall, you could simply update a few documents and refinance again, but why take the chance? So when rates spiked 0.5% recently, not only was I disappointed that we couldn't help those who waited, but also for those buying a home who just saw a sharp increase to their monthly payment. So while we can't control the market, we can offer an alternative. Eliminate timing and say goodbye to closing costs forever. 877-9-NO-COST or simply apply online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
The Jackets are back at Nationwide for a battle with the Capitals. Live fan coverage starts Tuesday night at 6:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
The weather in Central Ohio just got better, so why shouldn't your loan rate? CME Federal Credit Union wants to try to beat your current loan rate by 2% on autos and toys. Plus, no payments for 90 days on car loans and 60 days on motorcycles, boats, and more. Go to CMEFCU.org today.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and 32-ounce Yingling drafts for only $4. If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Eric Reeser, Justin Zwick, Ryan Baker with you until noon today. At 11 o'clock, we will hold for Ohio State's Ryan Day. They're wrapping up spring practice number 13, I want to say, which... look, you're thinking 12's today, 13's Tuesday, or 13's Wednesday, I should say. And they got the spring game coming up Saturday at noon. We've also, on Thursday, Paul, Skip, and Jim Lachey have a special Ohio State spring preview show. They'll bring your way at 6 o'clock. So plenty of spring game coverage will come your way this week, not only on the Fan, but also on our YouTube channel. That's where you'll get Austin Ward and everything. We were thrilled to have him on with us last segment. But it is time now, before we do some tap dancing, for Thing or Not a Thing.
Thing or Not a Thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
All right, we're 10 days out from the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. The New England Patriots are scheduled to hold their pre-draft news conference sometime today. Head coach Mike Vrabel will not be taking part. That's according to ESPN. While it's not necessarily unusual for someone other than the coach to conduct the presser, it's noteworthy because Vrabel did it last season. Patriots executive Elliot Wolf will run the press conference instead. Vrabel's not going to have to face the media until after next Thursday, next Friday, next Saturday, next Sunday's NFL draft. Thing or not a thing?
This is a tough, I don't know if it's a thing, but if you're Vrabel, I feel like you just got to go out and do it. And you got to get out in front of it. You did it last year because now everything's just going to be, well, you were here last year, but now you're not because of what just happened. So I think it's kind of a thing. I'm going to go with the thing.
So this is not a thing to me. I'm actually I guess I shouldn't be, but I'm actually kind of surprised how big of a deal and how much people are talking about this. I believe it's even, spoiler alert for the end of the show, I believe it's even our fan poll today It is. Do you believe, like, you feel you should know what happened? And no, it's none of my business. Like, they're two grown adults. They can do what they want. Now, some people are saying this is going to affect Diana Rossini's integrity and her reporting if there is something here with this. I don't care about this at all, and I can't believe, even though I probably should, I can't believe how much other people do and how much we're talking about.
Yeah, I guess when I say a thing, I don't mean it like I care that much, but it's just go out and do the interview, because you're gonna have to be in front of the cameras at some point in time. You're gonna get asked the question. You came out and said it was laughable and kind of blew it off. Just come out and say that again. I don't need to know what happened. I don't care about that. They are adults, but it's just like, for him, I just feel like you did it last year. Just come out and face the music and answer the question and be done with it.
Because when you have your executive, Elliot Wolf, or whomever from the Patriots organization takes that mic first, what do you think the first question's going to be? Where's Coach Vrabel? What is precluding him from appearing today? When
he was here last year,
he did it last year. I just think
like he's almost throwing more gasoline on it.
You're not helping yourself.
You're not helping yourself. Like, just get it done with.
I think the question I would want to know is how many head coaches of NFL teams do this press conference, and did Vrabel do it last year just because it was his first year with the team? And I guess that's the thing that I would want to find out is how many general managers do this, how many head coaches do this, how many owners, however, what's the breakdown or percentages of that?
Well, we know the first series of questions that Patriots executive Elliot Wolf will answer at their pre-draft press conference today. But yeah, the Daily Fan Poll, sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, asks, is it any of our business what happened between Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini? And we'll do it now and then reference it at the end of the program, but 73% say no. And I tend to agree only in the instance of, this all came out before, 2 weeks before the NFL draft, where as an NFL insider like Diana Rossini, that's the biggest time for them of their year. Like, pre-draft and draft information is huge for what they do, because in the season, you've got games. And so injury reports are a thing, trades are a thing at the deadline, but what teams do before and during the draft is huge. And so to have her linked to Mike Vrabel in this kind of a way with the A.J. Brown news, and if he's going to get traded from Philadelphia to New England, and then now she's not able to cover anything.
And you were just at the owners' meetings, right? That's where they were, right?
Oh, that's really, really dumb. And I think
you just seen him.
Vrabel could get ahead of it if he just spoke to it.
Maybe that's what they were doing, just talking about the Patriots draft strategy.
I don't care what they're talking about. You guys do you, but I think Vrabel just needs to come and just get it over with. Rip that Band-Aid off.
Veteran NBA writer Gary Wolfel reported on Sunday Jimmy Haslam's angling to become the controlling owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. The team and Doc Rivers parted ways yesterday after 3 seasons. They'll owe him most of the 8-figure salary remaining on Rivers' contract. The reporting adds, quote, a massive reconstruction project is coming for the Bucks this offseason. That would include the Rivers news. Back in 2023, the Haslams purchased a 25% stake in the team when Jimmy bought out their previous owner. As it stands, the Bucks have a unique ownership structure. Haslam's got 25%. Wes Edens and Jamie Dinian also have 25%. The other 25% is held by a vast array of minority owners, including Aaron Rodgers. The reporting speculates that Haslam is going to try to buy out some of those minority owners over the summer. Thing or not a thing?
Not a thing. These people have so much money. I mean, how many teams does he own now?
Kind of ridiculous, right?
I mean,
how much money?
It's not enough, but he's into sports. He likes it. I mean, he does a nice job with the crew here in, Columbus. Maybe if he gets things fixed up north. I don't know. Not a thing for me. Ownership, I don't know how much that really does in the NBA or, in the NFL or in professional sports.
Yeah.
This is a massive thing to me because you know what I just heard of all of this? Aaron Rodgers, the next quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. That's what I heard in all of that from you,
I was really hoping you were going to throw in there Aaron Rodgers, the next quarterback of the Milwaukee Bucks.
I like the Browns a lot better. I wish I'd have went there.
He's going to be the point guard.
It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing.
Aaron Rodgers is going to link up with Jimmy Haslam.
That's our fourth quarterback.
Cleveland.
Hell yeah. I'd be all right with it. What the hell?
Let's go.
Can it get any worse? No.
Todd Monken's like, it can't be any worse.
Todd Monken would take Rodgers over the other 3 quarterbacks that he's got to work with. Why I do think this is a thing. is because you have the report of the massive reconstruction project. There's the parting of ways of Doc Rivers, where he might join the front office in some form or fashion. He's just not going to be their head coach next year. How does this impact Giannis Antetokounmpo, who it does feel like they're going for a very messy divorce? And Justin, I've maintained over the last decade, the drama off the court is so much more entertaining than the drama on the court for the NBA. They're going to do their play-in thing tomorrow, and no one's going to pay any attention to it. But what happens with Giannis could be dictated by who owns a majority of that team. And if Haslam does take control, wouldn't you think you keep Giannis and be like, hey, how do you want to build this, man?
Who do you want to be your coach? What do you want to happen here?
The floor is yours, because we do know with the Haslams and their ownership of the Browns, they'll spend money.
No, they'll spend, yeah. Hey, you want to bring your brother back? Let's bring your brother back on the team, whatever it takes. It's an interesting deal. With Giannis being hurt all year long, I mean, what do you expect a coach to do in the NBA? When your star player,
at some
two
point,
of them get hurt.
And it's not to say that the Milwaukee Bucks didn't give Giannis help. They got him Damian Lillard, and things just didn't work out in that former facet. So we've got Ryan Day coming up here in the next hour. He'll be speaking after Ohio State's spring practice, and as soon as he takes the podium, we will give you his comments. But I also wanted to hear this. Baker put it in the show sheet from Will Muschamp. Talked about the type of player they're looking for at Texas. You'll hear all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
College. A time to broaden the mind, question, learn. A time to challenge the status quo. And eat a ridiculous amount of pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of the Ohio State University and the unofficial bank of pizza. Let's go Bucks! Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the ones you love? With Kroger same-day pickup and delivery, it's easy to shop the same great prices and quality you'd find in store. We'll bring your groceries right to you in our refrigerated trucks, so you can spend time on what matters most. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save $20 on your first Kroger pickup or delivery order of $75 or more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. As a longtime homeowner, I know how it goes when it comes to things that need to be fixed around the house and you just haven't gotten to them. Like maybe that leaky faucet that always has a drip. You think about it, but you never take care of it, and now it's just a part of the house. It's character. Maybe it's your windows that are always sticking and you can't get them open. So you just don't think about it. Who cares? Except now the weather's nice. You want to open the windows, and again, you can't because they're not fixed. Get new windows from Window Nation. They've made it easy to get top quality custom fit windows with their the more you buy, the more you save sale. You could save up to 50% off all your windows. Plus, you could get them with zero interest for 5 years. Did you know investing in your home is actually one of the best investments you can make, especially in uncertain times? Experts report that windows retain 80% of their value. Energy efficient, beautiful windows from Window Nation with great deals going on now. Schedule your free consultation at windownation.com. Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Now is the time to call Comer & Cross and transform your garage with a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor. Maybe your garage floor has exposed concrete with stains and cracks or a bad epoxy or paint job. Well, a new Comer & Cross garage floor will transform your entire garage in just one day. Now, here's the great part of this whole story. If you call them right now, they're going to take 50% off installation. Yeah, that's right, 50% off installation from Comer & Cross when you call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. A Comer & Cross garage floor is the gold standard, guaranteed to never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. Plus, they make it easy. They'll take your stuff out of the garage for you. They'll fix your cracks and pits perfectly like it's a new garage floor, and then they'll apply the proprietary finish that you pick. Yeah, I said it. They'll fix your cracks and pits. What's wrong with that? That's what you want. So call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR to get 50% off installation. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to comercross.com.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been your one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
No one plans to get into an accident, but when it happens, we strive in making life easier for you. This is Justin Hinderer. The Hinderer Motor Company Collision Center is ICAR certified and certified by many manufacturers to provide the best quality repair available. All of our repairs come with a lifetime warranty. We have our own 24/7 towing service so you never have to wait. Plus, we offer on-site rental cars for every lifestyle. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Ohio State's annual spring game is Saturday at the Shoe. We'll have that game on the Fan with live coverage from Ohio State's campus Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey will hold a special spring game preview show Thursday night on the Fan at 6 o'clock. On the ice last night at Nationwide, the Blue Jackets lost to the Bruins 3-2. Jackets also lost control of their playoff destiny. MoneyPuck.com says the CBJ have a 6% chance to make the playoffs. They now need the Flyers to lose their last 2 games in regulation. Columbus also has to beat Washington at Nationwide Tuesday for the postseason dream to be realized. Philadelphia hosts Carolina tonight at 7. And in baseball, the Guardians lost to the Braves 13-1 last night at Atlanta. Cleveland's at St. Louis tonight at 7:15. The Reds, they've got the night off. They'll play the Giants on Tuesday. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best local credit union for the last 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit bmifcu.org to learn more.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yes, it is. You've got your 2 top men on the program today. We've also got Justin Zwick, who I would consider a top man,
well,
if not on the Fan, in my heart. So, Justin, thank you so much for giving us the morning.
Happy to do it.
We're going to, again, put on our best dancing shoes for the next however many minutes. I've set the over-under because you said 11:20.
I was over. Yeah, I was over.
Baker had 11:15, so I just split over-under 11:17 for when Ohio State's head coach hits the podium. But fret not, friends, when he hits the podium, we will give you his comments live on the Fan. What I wanted to do in the last segment before we kind of ran out of time, and really, Justin, along with not jeopardizing our FCC license, so I don't want to say the F word on the air, I also want to be a better clock manager. I think most of the time in sports, you get coaches that just aren't good with the clock. So I wanted to get us out on time, but I also wanted to hear this from Texas defensive coordinator. I guess this is his second trip in Austin as Texas's DC, Will Muschamp, talking about the type of player that they're looking for in Austin.
You know, somebody that embraces work, somebody that embraces work ethic, somebody that wants to improve and get better every single day, somebody that wants to get coached hard and developed. And, you know, that in our society right now, sometimes that's easy to spot that they don't. And we got to make sure that we stay away from those guys that don't want to get developed and coached the right way. But obviously you've got to have the critical factors at each position from a size standpoint, from a length standpoint, from an athletic standpoint, some of the testing numbers. Obviously they need to have good tape. They've got to have a good transcript. Our players go to school here at Texas. So we actually go to class. Not like some other places. So at the end of the day, all of those things are encompassing and very important to any student athlete here.
Will, you were doing so well.
Why say
until that last line. And Justin, I saw you hang your head. I saw Baker laugh in the producer's box, and I gave a chuckle. What of that caught your attention?
Why do these coaches go out and say
until that?
Oh, it's so silly to me. Oh, we actually go to school. Like, come on, guy. Everybody goes to school. It may be online, but that's just the new world we're in. Come on. Everything was good up until that point. He lost me. I'm done with him now.
I love how much, especially as we head more and more, unfortunately to me, towards a professional model in college sports, that we still act like that these guys, especially at football, because that's what we base all of this off, and not even all the football players, but the top of the upper echelon guys, most of the guys going to Texas, they don't give a rip about school. Now, and that's one of the things I hate about all this is we judge all of this on football and maybe a little bit of college basketball at the top. The baseball players, the volleyball players, the track and field athletes, like the school still matters, I believe, for all of them. There's a means to an end here with all of this. The means to the end in football at Ohio State is the NFL. And I know not every guy at Ohio State makes it to the NFL. Some of those guys are actually going to need that education, but most of these guys aren't playing school.
Yeah, I don't know that they came to play school, but they're still taking some classes because there is still some of you gotta have a GPA above something. I'm sure there's still something along those lines, but they may not be going professional in school, but they're taking classes and they have something they have to do.
I buttressed the comments by Muschamp up with the comments that Ryan Day had made last week on Cam Hayward's podcast, where they're looking for guys who want to be first or second round NFL draft picks. And Ryan Day did the smart thing by not bringing academics into all of this, because it's important that for some who will not be going to the pros, that you do get that degree that says The Ohio State University, because it can open so many doors for guys that is even people in the first generation college guys. And so the importance of it's there. And we all kind of understand that because we're all adults here. But we also understand that when you're at a place like Ohio State, you're at a place like Texas, you're at a place like Alabama or Georgia or Michigan, you're there because that's the best. And you're there to be the best of the best of the best, sir. And you want to go and play on Sundays. And Muschamp, you had it going until you dropped the student athlete thing.
A really good point, too, because and I think Ohio State's done a really good job at this of just like getting to know the guy when they bring them in. Hey, we're not, like, well, you're a 5-star, great, we're going to sign you. No, come on in. I want you to meet with some of our players. I want to meet with the coaches. I want to get an idea of what you're like. Because, we're going to be able to give you some money. It might not be the most, but I want to make sure you fit into this program. So we're just not bringing guys in here who we can't coach hard, who we can't trust to do what they're supposed to be doing. And so, I mean, Muschamp is saying that's a great message, and I agree with him because it is hard. And that's why, Mark Pantoni, I talked to him last summer. He's like, I watch 13 hours of film a day. He's like, because when you're bringing these guys in and you're putting a dollar amount on them, you can't miss, and if you have a couple of those misses, you really could set yourself back. So, there is so much that goes into that, and finding the right guys is the biggest part.
And it's one of the things that the Ohio State football program, for the most part, has done really well. For you've Seth McLaughlin, Caleb Downs, Julian Sayin, they've brought in a lot of guys that have really been good. There are very few Ethan Onionwas to talk about with this Buckeye football team. And I think it's one of the things when you compare the football team and the basketball team that, football's getting a lot more money and they've got more chances and swings at this, but they've been hitting. And the basketball team maybe has not. So it's one of those things. How do you get with what little or what limited resources you have on the basketball side? How can you get that to mirror the hit and the success rate on the football program?
And you mentioned, the basketball, the transfer portal is still open through, I think, next Tuesday, the 21st, on the men's side of things. This from Jeff Goodman, who on Saturday said that one high major coach told me, quote, "This has become a joke. We got guys who average 3 points a game asking for $1 million. It's completely out of control." And he's absolutely right. Football and basketball wise, you got guys with limited to almost no production saying, well, someone in my family or someone in my advisory group's telling me I'm worth this. I'm going to go find this. Like, I think to Chaz Coleman, and I don't know if you've seen the news from Chaz down in Knoxville. It's not going well.
Not going well.
And he got, $3.5 million to make the trip? And so now what? Tennessee's going to pay one of his siblings to live with him? It's so important to what you
cut him. I saw headlines like they may cut him, and I was like, "What? Do you do that now?"
He just got there.
And I love this chaos because Reese, I've hated all of this from the beginning, and I've wanted it all to crash and burn. You asked for all of it. Here you go. Get everything that comes with it, Mr. Coleman. You wanted big boy opportunities. You better be a big boy now and live up to it.
The idea that he was such a sought-after talent and the opportunities right there for you to just travel down Warren, Ohio, right outside of Youngstown.
Not just that long of a drive.
It's a very easy drive. Youngstown's a little bit tougher because you get up 71, you think you're there, and then you got to go over to 76. And I've done the Columbus to Boardman trip many times, and it's so much closer than Knoxville. And the idea that I'm trying to remember the last big-time defensive player Tennessee's really developed.
James Pierce Jr., maybe?
Okay, valid. But here at Ohio State, defensive end, pretty solid list there of guys still. I mean, Joey Bosa's still commanding big-time dollars for that. So people are getting such bad advice with this, and they're making such poor choices that, I want to go out and try and get a job and say, hey, I want $1 million. And they're going to say, no. It's nice to want things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I want big boy money here, but my numbers aren't relative to some of the other big earners here.
And Reese, this is to your point on this, and I know we've disagreed a little bit. Like, I think it needs to come from above the coaches, but you think the coaches, like, if the coaches... and obviously this person, I think, is complaining to Jeff Goodman. Oh yeah. I don't think he's saying like, oh well, this is just what it is. I think he's complaining.
No, he's not thrilled with the situation.
If the coaches tell these guys to go pound sand or go find it, sir, but they're not, because someone eventually is going to get desperate and be like, well, I think this guy could help me.
Our portal class isn't very strong. We got $1 million left.
And that's where I think, like I said, I think it needs to come above the coaches, because the coaches are going to want to win at all costs. Sure. And we've kind of seen that these ADs and presidents do too. So I don't know where it comes from. But if you just tell this guy and you all get together, and I know you can't collude, but if you all get together and say, go pound sand, that would end a lot of this.
You can't rely on Congress. You can't rely on the conferences. You can't rely even on presidents and athletic directors. If the coaches want meaningful change in college football, and college athletics, they've got to get together and say, this is how and who we're going to get into business with. This is who we're not going to get into business with. And the Charles Bediacos and whoever this player was that averaged 3 minutes a game seeking $1 million, you tell them this isn't going to be the place for you. The only change can come from the coaches, in my opinion. Only meaningful change, because everybody else, you're just throwing stuff at the wall.
Reese, we have an update here. And now this isn't official, but our good friend Dave Biddle texts and says, day presser won't start for a while. This was at 11:05. They're still practicing, FYI. My guess is 11:30.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing they're still at practice? So it started at 8:30. They got the spring game Saturday.
I'm trying to think of the week that they have is probably a good thing, because this might be their last get after it practice.
That would make.
I think you have the coaches conference coming in Friday, so that one's going to be a little bit more, showing some things for the coaches. Maybe Wednesday they get after it a little bit, but today maybe he's holding them over a little bit longer, just because.
All right, that makes the most sense. For Ohio State, we talked about Thursday, they're going to have the spring game preview show on the Fan. Ohio State spring game Saturday at noon. We're going to be live from St. John Arena, outside St. John Arena. Rothman's going to lead the tailgate show Saturday at 10 a.m. I don't know if anybody paid attention on Sunday because of what Rory was doing at the Masters, but the NBA postseason's about to begin, and the Cavs did exactly what they should do. I'll tell you that next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Didn't meet your goals in January? At Low T Center, we extended our free testosterone test. Low T Center also works with most insurance plans and continues to be the most trusted name in the TRT industry. Book your appointment today at lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven. I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Imagine your money as a seed and watch it grow like a weed. It may sound cheesy, but we're here to tell you it's that easy. With a high-rate money market account from Kemba Financial Credit Union, earning you up to 3.75% APY until 2027, you can watch it sprout and bloom without even entering the room. Hurry, offer expires April 30th, 2026. Visit Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Advantage status and $5,000 minimum balance required to obtain APY. Max of $1 million. APY equals annual percentage yield Deal federally insured by NCUA.
With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
It always seems to happen at the worst time. You're finally in bed after a long, hard day, and then you hear it. You sit up, heart sinking. Is that coming from the ceiling? All of a sudden, it's a middle of the night flashlight hunt to find the leak. But don't worry, Newman Roofing has you covered, literally. With more than 3 decades in the business, we've seen just about everything a storm can throw at a roof. Our teams know how to spot the problem, explain your options, and fix it right the first time, with craftsmanship and care you can feel good about. We're not just here for a quick patch job, and we never will be. We're here to make sure your home stays protected season after season. So when it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, choose the company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Common Man and Timmy.
He's not a guy to trifle with.
I like a good trifle. Cake, brownie, whatever it is. Different I like a layered dessert.
You love chocolate trifles.
I love a good layer.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Austin Ward here, fired up for warm weather, golf season, longer days, more time outside. Ride the momentum and finally drop the weight you keep saying you will. With Awaken 180, it's fast, easy, and we're all proof that it works. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
We plant trees because people need trees. And when planted in the right place, they have great impact. Trees help slow climate change, filter our air and water, foster biodiversity, and strengthen our communities. They create the kind of transformational change the world needs now. April is a month filled with opportunities to care for and plant trees. For planting resources, contact an Ohio ISA certified arborist who can help you learn how to take the best care of your trees. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Happy New Week, everyone. We will see a chance of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day today, although most of us will remain mostly cloudy and breezy with highs in around 80 degrees. For tonight, chances of showers and thunderstorms linger. Otherwise, most of us stay mostly cloudy with our lows into the 60s. And then for Tuesday, the gusty winds continue yet again with highs in the mid to low 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan. The show that understands the importance of a situational beverage. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Justin, after the Blue Jackets game last night, I needed a beverage. You lose 3-2 to Boston in a game you had to have to control your playoff destiny, and
you and 17,000 other people, I think.
Out of your hands. So where you're waiting tonight, everybody within the sound of my voice is a Carolina Hurricanes fan. They must beat the Flyers in regulation. If the Flyers get a point, it's over. And so if Carolina is able to get the job done tonight, beating the Flyers in regulation, you have tomorrow night against the Washington Capitals at Nationwide Arena with hope.
With hope.
Now,
we still need another loss.
The hope
and
could
we
be
got to win,
squashed because Philadelphia also has a game against the Canadiens, and if a point is gained by Philly then
but
the
there'd
Flyers.
be hope. Yeah, hopefully we get into tomorrow with some excitement and, maybe those fingers
I got a
crossed.
turd. I'm trying to paint it so many shades of gold.
Guys,
it is what it is.
I told you earlier, I've seen this story before. Somehow the Canes, who are starting no one tonight, will beat the Flyers. And then the Jackets will beat Ovi and the Capitals tomorrow night. And then with a minute left against Montreal, somehow the Flyers will score in the final minute and force overtime, and season squashed. Kick to the groin complete.
At least you were, and again,
At least you were there.
You were there for 82
point.
games. You were in playoff contention, just like last season. The NBA playoffs start on Tuesday with the play-in, and that it's available on Amazon. And I do think if you want to curtail tanking in the association, only the play-in team should get ping pong balls because at least they're trying. They're not great teams like the Miami Heat or like the play-in tournament champions of the universe. If you could give them a lottery pick, maybe they become an actual contender in the East. But the Cavs are the 4 seed. They got the Raptors in the first round. They'll play game 1 of that series on Saturday. It was imperative to me, Justin, that the Cavs avoided Boston until at least the Eastern Conference Finals because this Donovan Mitchell run that they've had has been just tremendously underwhelming. And that's not Donovan Mitchell's fault because of injuries have happened, but other guys around like Jared Allen, I keep thinking back to the lights being too bright for him. And I go, okay, this is the best chance you have ever had with Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs to win the East.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I was hearing about, they want to be in this certain spot and maybe take some games. It's like, do you want to? I'd rather be playing really good going into the whole thing. Not that they aren't.
It's tough because so many teams
just don't know what's going to happen, right?
It was like Friday night. Every team in the association played their penultimate game. And of starters and reserves that were scheduled, 168 players were scratched. And so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like nobody's playing for anything. Yeah. And so it's really tough from a league standpoint to say, okay, we're going to just skip. We're going to kick or skip in the final weekend of the season. Yeah. Give a rip about the playoffs until May. They're in a bad spot. The Cavs aren't.
The Cavs are, yeah. The NBA is in a bad spot. The Cavs are actually, they should be in a good spot. They're feeling good going into the playoffs. It would just be so cool. That run they went on when we finally got the championship up there. That last shot, I won't forget it. And I'm not even a huge, big fan, but it's like I remember where I was when Kyrie hit that shot, the parade, all that kind of stuff. It would be so cool to see another run like that. And it's a fun team to watch. Yeah. Hopefully they can just put it all together here and stay healthy throughout the playoffs.
I think that'll be the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
Is if you're able to get to Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, as long as you can maintain health, you have a chance against them in a series. We are awaiting Ryan Day at the podium after Ohio State's wrapping up spring practice. According to that damn Dave Biddle, it went a little long today. This is practice 12 for Ohio State. They've got their spring game coming up on Saturday. And so when Ryan Day hits the podium closer to 11:30, we'll have his comments live for you. With the NBA, I think players have until the end of May, I think right after Memorial Day weekend, that if you have collegiate eligibility, but you want to test the NBA waters, you can do so, and then you'll get your report card back and then make your final decision whether you want to go into the NBA draft, you want to make yourself available to the NBA draft, or you want to return to college. I think it's May 29th for that. And Junie Mobley's one of those players that he committed to return to Ohio State next season, but he is going to be testing the draft waters, which I think is a smart thing to do. There's really nothing Junie can do between now and then to improve Ohio State's roster. He can attend in-person visits when guys from the portal come in. He can sit on Zoom calls. But really, if he wants to work on being a better basketball player, which is what this team's going to need from him next year, learning how to be a better pro.
Going through that whole process
is absolutely that.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you so much, experience, just what you're going to be going through here in, another year or two. And if there's no reason not to, you go out there and see what you got and see what the feedback they give you and what they think you need to get better at. And you put that into what your college coach thinks you need to be better at, and you formulate a plan and go for it.
Because I do think it's different. Junie hears so much from Jake Diebler, hears so much from the Ohio State coaching staff that, sometimes things go on in one ear out the other. And this is, probably similar for football players as well, is where you hear so much from the head coaches, you see and hear from on a daily basis. It loses its luster relative to what an NBA or an NFL talent evaluator can tell you. Because then it's like, oh, okay, or they say it in a different way. Or they
it's like having kids. If I offer up something for my kid, no, I don't want to do it that way. But
it's the best analogy.
5 minutes later, they come up and like, I'm going to do it this way. It's the best. I'm like, I just told you that. So, yes, to your point, like you hear it from the coaches that you see every day, but you get some feedback from some people you don't know as well. It maybe hits you a little bit harder.
And I think all of us, I think everybody, like 100% thinks Junie will be back for Ohio State next year. So with that, and he's already said if he doesn't like what he hears, he's going to be back. I would guess that they already have an NIL compensation package in place for him. That just needs to be, I's dotted and T's crossed and all of that. But, gosh, have any of us even thought, what if Junie likes what he hears? And he goes?
I don't want to think about him not being here next year.
That would be bad.
That wouldn't be good. Although I think we got to have some money freed up, though, right? I mean, basketball-wise, because Thornton was taking a decent amount.
There's money available. It's just
finding the guys to come in.
It's allocating
I think
the
Anthony
resources.
Thompson and Amari Bynum have taken a lot of that.
Anthony Thompson's not coming here for free, and Amari Bynum probably
we needed to pay
could have named his price for next season, and it's deserved.
Yes.
You know, when Jeremiah Smith comes out and says, some team offered me $10 million, my thought was, okay, it was Miami that offered it, and it's like, that's it? Because you got to consider what your value is worth to an organization. I mean, these are pros. So what's Amari Bynum's value to this Ohio State basketball team? I can't put a number on it.
Now, I'll push back on that just a little bit because I believe maybe there was some overpayment this past year for a couple of players because, we got to have someone. And I will never, ever believe that overpaying someone is good for your organization. That acting out of desperation and overpaying is good. I will never, ever believe that.
Sure.
Well, in this world, it's not because if they do play, they're coming back to you next year saying, I want more.
You needed Gabe Cupps last season. You needed a backup point guard. You still need a backup point guard if you don't know what you're going to get exactly out of Justin Pippen. So Ohio State's landed 2 players out of the transfer portal. Andrea Jelic, 6'11", sophomore from Croatia. He played last season at Kentucky. I just keep thinking back to Kentucky big men. Haven't really performed here at Ohio State, so we'll wait and see. 5.5 points per game, 4 rebounds for the Wildcats. He was a professional overseas for 2 seasons before he landed in Lexington. So I do like from that standpoint that he's played the game at the highest level over there.
He's matured. He's not a freshman coming in. He's got, some years under him. I'm playing pro. It's just mind-blowing to hear, he played pro over here.
And then you're going to tell me you got to take a class. Like Matthew Grucic, who's also came from overseas. It's like, well, he'd played professionally. He'd already got a paycheck from playing basketball, and now you want him to take a comms. It
just makes my mind spin when I'm like, they already played pro, and they're coming.
The one thing I do like with him is he seems to be a guy that's a little bit better around the basket. And you haven't had a big that's good around the basket in a long time. Now, some people will argue Felix Okpara, and he was a good shot blocker, and he could rebound a little bit. I'm talking about offensively here with Jelic. He does seem to be, he's got a lot of Christoph Tilly in his game, but he does seem to be more competent around the basket.
Only you and Jacob Reimer are grinding Andrea Jelic tape.
Yes.
In April.
Well, I was actually trying to hear how to pronounce his name.
I'll do that and go and listen. Like NHL players, I'll go and watch like their Latvian highlights.
Hey, we've got a Ryan Day at the podium.
We'll go out now.
Coach, what are you looking for Saturday? What can the fans expect?
Yeah, we'll do a game. Probably have a drive or 2 that will be thud, but we'll be tackling and playing a full game. So, we're excited about that. I think it's a great opportunity because of our numbers to let guys get out there and play in front of a good crowd. It sounds like we're going to have a good crowd, and for 51 of our new guys. Now, I guess not all of them will be participating because a couple of guys will be dinged up, but that'll be their first time playing, in front of a crowd. So, great opportunity for all of them to grade out and finish off their spring the right way. And that's, we've been grading every practice and really evaluating every practice. So I know that they want to finish this last week strong.
How much contact?
We'll be tackling the whole time. Again, maybe a drive or 2 of thud, but we'll be tackling the rest of the time.
Except the quarterback?
Except the quarterbacks, but we'll see as the scrimmage goes on how it goes.
Dave on the left.
Ryan, how is Legend Bay doing?
He, is getting back. I don't know if he'll be able to, be ready by Saturday, but it's been a hamstring injury that's been bothering him for a couple weeks now, and he's been rehabbing. He's not quite there, ready to go yet, but our guys are working hard to get him back on the field.
Real quick, if healthy, I know he's transitioned from being a high school quarterback to being a running back at Ohio State. Obviously, big transition. But if healthy, what can he add for you guys this year?
Well, we'll see. But he certainly has talent. His talent is his explosiveness, his quickness. He has vision. So, that's exciting. You can see that on his film, but then once he's out here, you can see that as well. As always, the areas that we focus on is discipline and skill. The skill to play the position and the discipline. And what we consider discipline is everything that you didn't just have that you weren't born with. And so that's effort, focus, work ethic, like all of those things, and then the skill. And so I think that is to your question. It's like, okay, if he's a running back, if he's a wide receiver making the transition from playing quarterback in high school, how many reps does that take? It does take some time, and so he did miss some time here this spring. So he'll be a little bit behind that way, but the talent is definitely there.
Doug in the center.
Ryan, the full shape of the quarterback room with Julian back, and then also Tavian, and bringing in Justin and Luke being a new guy. What did you think of the room you guys were able to build, and how has that looked during spring, and what are you hoping to see from those guys on Saturday? It's
been solid. Every day you come off the field and you get challenged, and you have a certain opinion. Every day is a new day. That's kind of how you have to look at it when you're a quarterback, because if you think what happened in the last practice is going to affect the next, it's not. Defense is going to throw new stuff at you. We have some things that we're installing, different situations, and that is one thing as we get into the last week of spring, more situational stuff. But I feel like the room is strong. I feel like we have an opportunity to build some depth behind Julian and then build a future with the guys that are in the room. And so, we're working to build these guys up every day, but they have to realize and understand that, certainly Julian's a starter, but, they're one play away from playing in these games. And, we all know, the history of, guys getting injured and having guys step up. So depth is important at every position, but we know how important it is at quarterback. So there has been a lot of growth in that room, but we all know what the expectation is. The expectation is to step in and play at championship level.
How important was it to bring in a guy like Justin this offseason?
Well, I thought it was important to bring in some veteran presence in the room, which was a good balance. Justin, I've been very impressed with his approach, very professional. Puts a lot of work in off the field, and then when he stands in front of the guys in the huddle, he's prepared. He's made some improvements, and he knows what it means to get prepared and to work. So those have all been positive things. And so, he's learning a new offense and how we do things here. But there has been certainly some bright spots.
Steven on the right.
You mentioned before how when Arthur first got here, you kind of took a step back and allowed him to kind of operate before you stepped in to things here. And this is like the first time you've had a guy running this offense that relatively just didn't speak the same language that you did completely. How have you seen that maybe impact where you guys want the direction of this offense to go? And then also, just would it be fair to call him the head coach of the offense?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're looking for. But there was a lot of terminology, on both sides that we've sort of put together on this, whether it's formations or concepts. But he brings a different perspective to the table, and I think. Being reflective in the off season, once you've been here going on 10 years, you certainly know what you know, and that's good. But there's a lot of different ways to do things, and I felt like it was the right time to allow Arthur to come in and sort of, give his perspective on the offense about where, he can see it going, and then, we're going to come together after the spring and start to put more and more things that he's done, more and more things that we've done together, and really try to shape this out based on our personnel. But his opinion is very important to me, because he is coming from a different perspective. Now, that being said, the West Coast route tree and things and the way he does things is familiar to me, just because when I was in the NFL and worked with some of the different coaches I've been with growing up, a lot of the things that he's done, we see it the same way. We talk the same language when it comes from that tree. But over the years, the West Coast offense has everyone just sort of gone off into different directions with it, and so he has his sort of variation of it, and so do we. But I think everybody's input in the room will be important. And then ultimately, we're going to do what the players can do best. And that's the number one thing that we got to focus on. We're going to finish up this week, and then put the cut-ups together, and then figure out how we're going to attack the summer.
You have an NFL head coach on both sides of the ball running things. Where does that leave you in terms of how you're spending your time? Whether it's when guys are meeting, when you guys are on the practice field, does this feel like the most detached you've been from just like one singular group of people just simply because of what you have in place?
Well, in the spring, just to give you an idea kind of how it goes, we get off the field here. We have a couple things that go on, whether it's media, and what we have is typically we have recruits, and we have a schedule on how we do this. I do a lot of the meeting with the recruits in my office, and so they get going with the film. I typically, and this is sort of the way it's been the last couple of years during the spring, I'll watch all of the film on my own, and then sometimes when I have more time, I'll jump in there and watch it with the offense. But I typically will watch it on my own and then either put together a cut-up or give feedback based on what I see the next day at our staff meeting, and then we build the practice for the next day. So that's really sort of how it goes. A lot of the stuff that I do in this time of year in the spring is typically in the staff meetings when we have everybody in there. Once we get into preseason camp and during the season, then it allows me more time because the recruiting isn't as hectic with all the people in the building and everything that comes with it. So this week will be a great week for us. We have our high school clinic, as many of you know, on Thursday, which is great. And so we're expecting great numbers there. We have Matt and Arthur speaking Thursday night. John Gruden will be here. He'll be speaking Thursday night, and then Friday. And then, folks can stay for the spring game, which is huge. And then the spring game, as you know, is a great day for recruiting. A lot of people coming into town for that, former players, current players' families, and all the fans being a part of that. But then again, recruiting is a big part of that day. And then that night we have our big NIL fundraiser, Saddle Up. So it's a busy week, and that's kind of how things go this time of year. You got a lot going on, but those guys are obviously focusing on the X's and the O's this time of year. Once spring kind of slows down a little bit, we get through June, it allows me more time and more free time to get around these guys a little bit more in terms of the X's and O's, but involved in all the special teams meetings, try to jump in the position meetings the best I can.
Joe on the left.
I know the program's always been on the forefront of changes throughout college football. Notice the back of the helmets where the guys' last names are on the back now. How did that come to be?
Well, because we had 51 new players, I don't know if you remember, but when we used to go to preseason camp, when everybody used to show up in the summers, I used to remember when I first showed up to camp, I had a box fan. I met my roommate and I stayed in the dorm, and I got a piece of white tape on the front of my helmet that said Day, and everybody said, Day, get over here. Well, now we wear the Guardian caps, so you can't really put anybody's name on the front. So Kevin Reese was creative in how he did that, so that's what we're doing this spring.
Firm on the right.
All right, we haven't talked to Julian since the first day of acclimation period, but what have you seen out of him in these last 4 weeks that give you confidence that the growth that you wanted off the field is happening, but also his voice on it? Is he getting more demonstrative, or are you feeling more secure that he's leading the way that you and Arthur need him to?
I would say, as a quarterback coach, always want more, always. So that being said, you do feel a lot of progress being made in the huddle, in particular, the way that he can get us in and out of plays, the way he operates the offense, the way he communicates in the huddle at the line of scrimmage is excellent. But we always want more, so we're always going to keep driving at it because there's so many more things that we got to get better at. But there's definitely improvement each practice.
Is there a chance that the iteration of the offense that you have building towards 26, it will actually suit him better as a quarterback?
Good question. I think that's something we have to figure out as we get to the preseason, and that trying to find what's best starts with him, honestly. It starts with the quarterback, then it goes to everybody else on offense, your skill players, your offensive line. But that's what we're chasing.
Dylan on the right.
Right, as you wrap up spring practice, I guess, what are you most pleasantly surprised with? Maybe something you had questions about or weren't sure about that maybe you don't have an answer to now, but you feel better about it now than when you went into the spring?
like I always say, I never feel good about anything, coming out of these practices. You never know what to think. I talk to so many coaches across the country. How's your team look? Oh, they look really good. And I'm like, well, I don't feel that way. Because I know what we have to do. I know the schedule about the play, and I know what the expectations are. So, we got to wake up early, we got to get to bed early, and we got to come in here and just attack every single day. I think, I wouldn't say it's one position group over another, but I think that the guys have played with a certain level of effort and intensity in practice every day. People who go to multiple practices have commented to me on how hard our guys are practicing, so I think that's good. But I know we need to go, so I'm not really content or satisfied with anything right now. We got to keep getting better.
Joey up front. And last year, it seemed like nationwide there was kind of, maybe still this year, but spring games have been canceled or scaled back. And then at this point last year, we looked at having a showcase. But to have a game, what do you see as the value of still having the traditional spring game? And is it just as valuable, if not more, with 51 new guys? Just how have you kind of weighed that?
Well, I think when we entered last year, coming off of the late season, finish, we finished on the 20th, and then spring ball was right around the corner. But what you realize is these guys coming out of high school really need to play. They haven't played at this level, and it's a big jump for all of them. So they need it. There are guys, however, that have played, 500 or 1,000 more snaps. 1,000 or more snaps, and so those guys really don't need that as much. But there's a lot of guys on the team that do, and so now that there's only one portal and you pretty much know what your team is at this point, it allows you enough players to get out there and actually scrimmage, and we need to do that. So that's what we're going to do, but we'll also be smart and make sure we're not putting guys who will put a whole bunch of football out there, and risk any type of injury. But some of these guys do need to play, and then it gives us some feedback going into the preseason on how guys are, or we can expect them to perform when they go into games.
Cameron on the right.
Ryan, you just mentioned not having the spring portal. I'm curious. This time last year you were probably hoping to keep guys and figure out other proposals as well.
Yeah.
How does that change? What you guys do in the next month? Where you go? Are you able to scheme better? How does that change things for you guys?
Well, there's pluses and minuses to everything, and having the spring portal not available, the good news on that is that you know what your team is. That is the good part of it. We all know what the negatives are of how crazy December and January is, and what comes with all of that. And not to mention, I don't even want to say, but once you have your team, you pretty much have your team, and that's in January, and then you have that all the way through the next year. So there are injuries, there's certain things that could happen, but you can't replace them. You can't get anybody off of waivers, obviously, and you don't have anybody in the spring portal. So there's a lot of pluses and minuses. But again, to your point, the pluses are we know what we have, and we have a full roster. So spring can be a little more productive that way. Now we're not going to be sitting around, dealing with another round of, conversations and negotiations. So again, another major positive to this. So for us, we're going to do exit interviews here next week, give guys feedback. They're going to get away for a couple of weeks, come back for the summer session, which will be huge for us. Guys will go on the road recruiting in high school recruiting. They changed the rule on that, so more guys will be able to go on the road, which is a good thing, I believe. And then we'll finish June up with our high school camps and then our official visits on campus.
Bill Landis in the center.
Ryan, Matt Guerrero was talking about maybe the part where you're going to miss Caleb Downs the most is in the communication aspect of that safety position. Who have you seen stepping up, trying to pick up some of that slack, and just what have you thought overall of that position group so far?
It's something that we're trying to get everybody to communicate more, just across the board, loud, let your voice be heard, and it's all of those guys back there. We play with those three safeties or the nickel coming down. All three of those guys have to communicate. The corners have to communicate, so the linebackers have to communicate. So really just talking to them about being loud, and volume exudes confidence. So it's everybody. But certainly Caleb is, someone that was excellent at it. He did a good job in the meeting rooms connecting with guys and making sure everybody's on the same page there. That was almost just as important as when he's on the field making the calls, and so that communication is an area. Like, again, we put up on the board some of our goals for the spring, and one of them was communication and creating a personality as a team. I think we're getting better at communicating, but again, we still got a long way to go.
Being head coach at Ohio State's already hard enough, but trying to replace a generational talent like a Caleb Downs and just what he meant to that team last year, I don't know if there's anything. It might be, if not the toughest, one of the toughest things that he's had to deal with amongst the litany of tough things that he had to discuss there, like exit interviews and constant negotiations and just everything that comes with being the head coach at Ohio State. We will do some more Ryan Day reactions and give you our 3 things to a Monday coming up next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
This Ohio State football spring practice report is brought to you locally on The Fan by Roosters and by your Ohio Kubota dealers.
Ohio State football spring practice report.
Well, we all know that the quarterback position at Ohio State always gets an awful lot of attention. And going into the spring and into the 2026 season, it'll be Julian Sands' second year as the starting quarterback of the Buckeyes. Head coach Ryan Day talks about the things they're looking for Julian Sands to improve on as he goes into his second year as a starter.
Well, I think the first thing is just command of the whole operation, understanding that he's the guy that's in charge. We're constantly looking for him to, run the offense at a high level. And so the expectation is more than it was last year. Everything that he did last year was for the first time. This year we know what he can do, and so he's got to take those next steps. The physicality of standing in the pocket, being able to escape and make plays with his feet when that's appropriate. But he's got to be at his best on third down and in the red zone. And in 2 minutes, we know we're going to have to win games in the fourth quarter looking at our schedule. We need him to be on his stuff when it comes to that.
This report brought to you by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center and by Weber Grills on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Buckeye fans, game day just got hotter. Whether you're parked in the shoe lot or grilling at home, it's not a tailgate without Weber Grill's Traveler Grill. Fires fast, folds flat, fits compact, and delivers championship flavor every time. Burgers, brats, steaks, even rival fans agree. Bring the taste of victory wherever you grill. The Weber Traveler Grill. Tailgate tough, Buckeye proud. Weber Grills. Taste the tradition. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Toyota gives you the power of choice with the stylishly affordable Toyota Corolla. Now through May 4th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 26 Corolla or Corolla Hybrid. Excludes GR and Corolla Cross models. Or lease a new gas-powered Corolla LE for $209 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Spring into savings at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, drive your new Hyundai with payments as low as $94 per month for a 2-year lease. Get spring lease savings on every model from Elantra to Palisade. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit. Payment on 26 Elantra SC, $39.95 down plus tax, title, first month payment. 7,500 miles per year and $430.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later.
Sound familiar, Dale?
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Columbus Worthington Air. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. At CWA, we treat your home like it's our own with safe, reliable service backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Columbus Worthington Air and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Whatever it takes. Visit CWAOhio.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 47543.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
After putting up with Dom Barry for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yes, it is. Eric Reeser, Justin Zwick, Ryan Baker. You'll have Dom on tomorrow at 10:30 to give his thoughts on everything you heard there from Ryan Day as the Buckeyes prepare for their annual spring game Saturday at the Shoe. Baker will be in with that. Bo will be back for that show as well. And we'll have our regular Bishop and Friends week minus me Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll be back Thursday, and then we'll have Paul Feinbaum. Because, Justin, the one thing from this spring relative to last spring in college football was there were so many programs that just did not do a spring game. Mm-hmm. And now you've got all those programs realizing how important a spring game is. No, not you, Lane Kiffin, but everybody else realizes, I think, the importance of having it for your fan base and just for your calendar. Because, you heard there from Ryan Day is just how important it is for them to get meaningful work in now, because you have that spring game is kind of your first hurdle to clear before the regular season. And so it's good that everybody's getting that in this year, and it's especially good for Ohio State, where it's not nothing that they brought in 51 new players.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surprised me a little bit to hear, like, we're going to do a game, we're going to do a scrimmage, but then as you hear him talk about and just how this is our team now. Right. Like, nobody's leaving after this. Like, we have to get these guys ready, and we got a lot of young guys who are here, and they need to play to just get the feel for what college football is all about. So, in a way, I didn't really think about it like this is your team.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about going through the spring game and somebody didn't get enough reps, so now they're leaving. And shoulders. You can just say, hey, we're going to go scrimmage and let these young guys play a lot. So I'm looking forward to it even more now.
Yeah, the Daily Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, and it asks, is it any of our business what happened between Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini? 70% say no. I agree.
I think I think they got it right.
Should be 100%.
I think
a lot of people just like...
The reasons like TMZ exist, reasons like reality television
TV
is so popular is people love the muck. This is in the muck. And I think for Vrabel, it doesn't help that he's not answering questions today, because when a thing like this happens, I think it's imperative that you get out in front of it. But Patriots are going to be doing the opposite of that. And, well, it's bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it goes. Time for three things.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, the first thing for me was going to be the thud tackling with the ones until they take the ones out after a series or two, and then you're getting everybody else in that's going to do live tackling. I love that. I don't think you should be afraid of football. Drake May was at the Masters, and the Masters did some social media content with him, and he talked about going back to the Super Bowl. And he said the biggest thing about it is you're so close, and everybody says you'll be back, but it's not that easy. And I think it's a very good lesson to learn as such a young player, because we all thought that, Justin, with Joe Burrow. Like, all right, well, he's back. He's at the Super Bowl year 2. They're going to be fine. He'll be back. And you kind of seen where the window can almost close in an instant.
Yeah, I feel like you saw that a lot when the Lions were a couple years ago, and Dan Campbell knows, like, we had this shot, and it's so hard to get back here, and you got to have everything fall into place, throughout a season. So, I mean, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to be that last team standing, and you just never know when it's your time, so you got to take advantage of it. But so I'm going next.
Yes, first thing for you.
One thing, I really liked how Ryan was talking about, Julian, we talked about it earlier about where do we see him grow? What does he look like this year? And I loved how Ryan was like, we're always looking to be better. So he didn't really give an answer, but he talked about how, in the huddle, at the line of scrimmage, getting us into the right play calls, and he said excellent. He's excellent at that kind of stuff. And that communication, you heard him talking about the secondary. We want them to talk more. The quarterback has to be able to communicate really well, and it sounds like Julian's on top of that, and that only just continues that confidence build for him. So I really enjoyed that.
Well, it sucked yesterday that the Blue Jackets lost. It was a great day down there. It was the Fifth Line celebration or Fan Appreciation Day at Nationwide. It was cool to be out there and host a little bit of trivia on their party at the Plaza before. Congratulations to Rodney. He won a team-signed stick for winning the trivia. It was nice to meet Dan and Scott, a couple loyal Bishop and Friends listeners out there as well. Then in the game, they were giving all kinds of prizes away, and one fan won a free year supply of garage beer.
Let's go.
And there were 5 Boston Bruins that were scratched yesterday, and they were about 4 seats down from me in the press box. Charlie McAvoy cheered more for that guy than he did when the Bruins scored the game-winning goal at 3-2. It was pretty fun watching him cheer. He's like, I want to be that guy's friend.
Yeah, I want to hang out with that dude. Second thing for me, Ryan Day talked about the coaches clinic. At the end of this week, John Gruden's going to be in attendance at the spring game. Can we get Gruden on the sideline? Would it be too much to ask to get a Spider 2 Y banana called so the fans can hear it in the stadium, and then to have the play actually run? Maybe not by Julian and the ones, but maybe Tavian and the twos can have some fun out there.
Yeah, let Coach Gruden go down there and get a look for you. He likes getting on the field with these quarterbacks. He wants to hear their snap count.
Yeah.
He likes to hear them call a play, get out there and do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun, and I don't think anybody in the stands would be too upset if old John Gruden came down and started calling plays.
Have some fun with it, man,
Because that's what this can be about, right? We're going to scrimmage, we're going to tackle, but we can also have some fun and show the fans a good time.
Second thing for you?
Second thing for me is the spring game this week. I just looked at the weather, 81 degrees and sunny. So that is one thing. Get out, put that on your calendar. You got a great time to get to the shoe for a fraction of the price that it would cost next fall.
This day in 1963, Pete Rose had his first Major League Baseball hit. It was a triple versus the Pirates. Of course, he's the hit king, 4,256 hits. The active leader in Major League Baseball is Freddie Freeman. He's over 1,800 hits away. I'm not sure anybody's ever going to break that record.
No time for 3 things from us, but Justin, it was awesome having you in, man, today. Thank you so much for the time. It was something I hope we can do again. Bo Bishop's going to be back tomorrow. We'll have Dom Taberry, and then some more thoughts from Ryan Day and the Buckeyes as they roll through spring. Rothman and Ice are coming up next again. Bo's back tomorrow, 9 a.m. to noon. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with